Episode number 20, Into the Forge. Cut off from retreat by the treacherous Goblin King and his Bhooyagh, our friends have been betrayed yet again, this time by the mysterious drow child named Zinn, who almost cast them into slavery. If not for their wits and many gifts, they may well have been netted by D'Azorak the Drider, and suffered the fate of almost all drow slaves, to be worked to death in some underground pit at the hands of the Spider Queen's servants. In a bid to escape the oppression of the Underdark, our companions Milford Brixton, Leith Mystralath, Edryn Motkoff, Adrik Fogdar and Gudael Dala Talandaran have made their way across the Underlock now, a massive underground lake inhabited by a giant old one known as the Aboleth. The Underlock itself, a black bottomless lake somewhere beneath Lake Lockharte on the surface. Following an extremely long and ancient highway-like bridge, moving carefully from span to span, guard tower to guard tower, the companions have traversed the 12-mile-long chamber and arrived at the entrance to the forge, and further, survived an attack by the dreaded Cloaker. With 15 emancipated dwarves in tow, recently freed slaves of the Drider, D'Azorak, and knowing little about the long ruined complex known as the Forge, let alone its Bhooyagh inhabitants, the companions have only the recently reformed Zinn to guide them. Thus they have hatched a plan of subterfuge and obfuscation to get past the ashen dwarves of the Forge Gate and sneak out through a side exit to the surface. Hopefully, without too much trouble. With the Aboleth bridge behind them now and the Cloaker dead, they stand in the subterranean landscape on the edge of the Underlock, looking up the sloping ramp to the giant forge's entrance ahead. They can now see an ancient Astorian relic, 2 towers, hundreds of feet high, framing the dark chasm that leads to the forge above. The tower on the left is collapsed and crumbling to ruin. Fragments of its walls and ancient archways survive in the rubble. The tower on the right, reinforced with the sturdy brickwork and mortar of the so-called Grey Dwarves. Beyond this dark moor, something of a road continues upwards, presumably to a complex beyond. Welcome to the Vaingate Chronicles. Now, I'll just quickly check that you guys can hear everything. Everything is sound. Can I get a sound check from my dear players, please? Adrik, please say something.
Hello?
Do we have sound from our loving audience for Adrik there? Can the other players give us a quick word, please?
Hello, it's me.
Yeah, excellent. Gudael?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing you on Zoom, so I'm going to presume that we're good, unless somebody in the audience says that there's a problem. In which case
Hello,
I'll
good evening.
do something about it.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, well, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vaingate Chronicles. I'm Russell Kirkby. Barry Tahira as Milford Brixton. Steve Austin as Leith Mystralath. Joanna Grotenhouse. I always stumble over your name. I'm so sorry, Joanna.
Everyone
Gudael
does.
Dala Talandaran, both her real name and her character's name. Complicated. And Max Easy as Edryn Motkoff, or more to the point, Edryn Motkoff. And Michael Bates, whose birthday it is tomorrow, as Adrik Fogdar. And we do have another special
Happy
announcement.
birthday,
to make
Michael.
tonight.
False, my birthday is on the 29th. I just brought the party earlier.
Ah, there you go.
I will, however, still accept presents and
enough.
subscriptions.
Yes, and charity donations too. The charity listed below. If you scroll down underneath the pictures, you'll see a thing called Gaming for Charity. There's a link there. You can go there. You can donate money to sick kids and the Auckland Starship Hospital via Gaming for Charity. So this will be going for a few weeks. I'll have to check the exact details, but it's all there. So if you're interested, donate some money to those poor kids because they need it. And if, you know, you can donate money to us too if you want to, but those kids probably need it more than we do right now, to be fair. Alright, enough of the formalities. Let's get on with this. So you guys are standing before the Forge Gate, and as I mentioned, there's a guard tower on the left, one on the right. The one on the left is collapsed. The one on the right, not so collapsed, it's still standing. Looks a little bit dodgy, but you know, it's still standing. And around you is this kind of sea of stony finger-like structures poking up out of the ground with the tops cleanly knocked off. The cloaker's corpse lays on the sandy black beach here in the Underlock in front of you as well, and the slope rises gently up to a horizon into the darkness and that chasm between those two pillars.
Is there any way forward between the two towers?
Well, yeah, there's a big gap between the two towers.
Leith will just turn to everyone and go, I guess we just keep heading forward and don't go into another tower.
There's like 300 feet between the two towers. It's basically, imagine a big archway, and on the left-hand side is a huge tower, on the right-hand side is a huge tower. The left-hand tower is collapsed, right? And in the middle of that is rubble and a kind of a roadway that goes through between the two towers into the darkness. The road in relation to the gap is much, much smaller, so everything is dwarfed by these towers and the hole itself.
Zinn, do you know which way we need to go to get closer to the surface?
Well, I can tell you this much, my lord Fogdar, that we need to continue somehow between the towers and around. There's going to be a path that goes directly up and another that will turn off to the right. I think we need to turn to the right, actually. But the thing that you must remember is that on the right-hand side, that tower is going to have soldiers in it, and they have weapons, including arrows. If you walk around in the middle, they're going to shoot you.
Alright, so a respectfully close distance between to that tower on the right.
So you have to keep sort of pulling to the side then.
Aye. Alright, let's go keep formation, everybody.
Alright, so you begin the march up to the right. And as you get closer, can you all make perception checks? Wisdom
Perception checks.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm so good at these.
And nice to have you there, Stardust. We missed you. Stardust
rolled
is asking you guys questions now. I'm not answering those questions. That's not between me and that's between you and him. Yeah.
Thank you, Strat Studio, for the birthday wish. And
oh wait, that's Strat Studio. Why did I think that was Stardust Sam? My God, I'm so sorry.
It's vaguely similar.
My brain today is
We could hail them, but I think our modus operandi is just trying to get through with as little I can't think of another word, with as little molestation as dwarvenly and elfinly possible.
I actually have a charge of Dust of Disappearance on me. So if we all gather in it, oh no, there's 15 dwarves.
You've got a disguise on though, don't
I do. Are 15 dwarves going to fit, plus us going to fit within a 10-foot radius?
You'd definitely be pushing your luck.
Yeah. Or are we going to try and
15 dwarves, 10 foot
risk
radius.
it with
10 feet radius? You know what? I reckon you probably could. You probably could. You'd have to be careful, but you probably could.
putting that out there as an option for everyone, unless we're feeling brave enough with these disguises.
Does the dust of disappearance block out sound?
Probably not.
Because I can't speak for anybody else, but I know Adrik's wearing like chainmail, that metal jingles.
The likelihood that 21 of us are going to get through unheard.
Yeah, we just need one dwarven shout to go, "This is fun! I'm having a great time!"
Just a little...
Damn,
up, Gerard.
little
that was
It
my
doesn't.
plan.
It doesn't say so. I would assume that sound isn't
I wouldn't think so.
isn't part of it. Yeah. So
I think
get,
for the moment, maybe do it as much as we can, and then if something happens that requires us to make a quick getaway, the most vulnerable, do the thing.
I'll have it on standby then, just in case I need to make us go. Foof.
Foomph.
With exactly that noise.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
All right.
Let's continue then.
All right. So you start heading up. Are you? Who's making stealth checks? Are any of you going to make stealth checks, or you're all just going up as in disguise, essentially?
In disguise, guys?
In disguise, guys?
That wasn't intentional.
I think that was the intent, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's the
I
intent.
believe so.
Mm.
All right. All right then. So, let me see.
Were the perception checks?
Yes. How were the perception checks? I didn't see them. Hang on.
Mine was
Check them now.
pretty low.
Mine was 6.
Mine was 8, I think.
Mine was 18.
So
Mine was 17.
Wow. Okay. So Gudael. Wait. Perception check. Leith 8. Adrik 17. Edryn 6. Milford 6. Gudael 18. Okay. Yeah. Gudael and Adrik, you both notice light flickering from about halfway up the guard tower, out of a small arrow slit. As you begin to approach, you're marching your way up towards the entranceway to the forge.
I'm sure it's fine.
Potentially a friendly light flickering?
I'm sure they're just curious to see who's coming. And look, Bhooyagh, drow, all these slaves, it's fine. Mostly, I assume.
All right, and as you begin to get closer, Adrik and Gudael, you're the first two to notice the very slight tinge of red light flicking on and off and slow pauses coming from something of a bit of a stoop towards the bottom of the guard tower. That you recognize as the light of a pipe being smoked. And you begin to smell the smell of a distant smell of some sort of tobacco-y substance.
Can I make out the person, the
What's
individual that's smoking it?
You've got 120-foot dark vision, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you'll see this first. So there's this ashen-looking dwarf sitting outside the guard tower at the very base, kind of facing the other guard tower, really. And he turns as he sees your figures begin to come up the ramp slowly in his direction. And he's just puffing on this pipe, and he tips it out and stands up, and he stands up and goes in through this door and starts calling out, and you can hear him saying something in Undercommon. You speak Undercommon, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay. So you hear something about someone's here! Someone's here!
I'm just going to relay that to the group. All right, they've spotted us. Just play it cool.
You hear the clattering of boots and weapons being grabbed and taken, and anyone that's paying attention will see the arrow slits above suddenly become occupied. Those of you with dark vision, I'm thinking Edryn might not notice all of these things.
I did say last game that I, before we left, I dumped myself on a bunch of spells.
Okay.
So
what spells have you got going?
I've already used 4. I've got, none of them are concentration. I got dark vision, mage armor, comprehend languages, and dark vision, mage armor, comprehend languages, and disguise self, because I'm supposed to look like a Durga right now.
Okay, so you look like a Bhooyagh.
Yeah.
Who here looks like a Bhooyagh besides Edryn?
Adrik
Okay,
also.
so Adrik. All right,
wearing,
and what's the marching order?
I've made myself look like a
You're a drow, aren't you?
look like a drow. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Gudael's in her leather. That's her disguise.
Right. Okay. So you're just gonna keep your head down, Gudael?
Yeah.
All right. Milford, what do you look like right now?
I'll have given Gudael a little bit of colouring. Like,
I'm in rags
I've
and
got
crap
enough.
with my head down.
Okay.
I've got enough in my disguise kit that I can, like, palette up Gudael's skin.
Oh, okay.
Is anybody chained up or tied up or anything like that? Do we have any?
I imagine we've tied up. We've got all the dwarves in like loose knots to look like they've been tied together.
Okay. And these knots, I assume, have a kind of a safety thing. You can pull a cord and they fall apart, something like that.
Yeah, it's a special dwarven mining knot that can just come away in their hands if need be.
Can you make me a sleight of hand check, please, Adrik, just to see how well you did at tying these knots?
Damn it! Come on! Ah, shit! It's a 3.
Well, that was the first one. So let's have a couple more.
Okay.
Gudael's just been given some inspiration on the chat as well.
Oh,
Thanks,
excellent.
Listen D.
Go good. Okay, so the second one is a 14.
And the third one.
These
Oh,
can
that's a
be-
2.
We can say these are for groups of 5, okay? So that's 3. Okay, so the
Okay.
second group, you're like, yeah, they're nice and... Yeah, okay. I know where we're at. Okay, this is good. Fair enough. So you keep moving towards the guardhouse, I'm assuming, at this point.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. All right,
And I guess in our walking order, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. It's Adrik and Edryn up front, with the drow immediately behind us, and the mining dwarves, trailing with the rope.
Right. With Milford and Gudael at the back.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Guys, where do you think you'd be?
I think I'd be kind of like second, trying to look like I'm powerful drow leader.
Can you make a performance check, please, Leith Mystralath?
Lol.
Oh, powerful drow leader. Do show us how it's done.
17.
Wow, a 17, and I see that in the D&D Beyond. Excellent. Okay, so yeah, Leith's doing a good job of coming off as the drow leader at the back there. All right, so these Bhooyagh come pouring out of the lip at the bottom of the tower, down the stoop, through the gate, through the guardhouse door. There's a phalanx of about 6 of them, and they've got halberds and shields, and they've got their helmets on. Which, incidentally, the one that you saw a minute ago smoking his pipe did not have his helmet on. So they've quickly kind of gotten their shit together, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them steps forward and he goes, "Halt! Who are you?"
Let us pass, please. We're very urgent business. We've got slaves to deliver.
Can you make a persuasion check, please?
Oh yeah, 18.
18. Alright. And he nods. He says, "I see that. Now who are you though?"
No, don't waste our time. We've got very urgent business.
"You cannot come through here by orders of our lord."
Well, you just tell your lord he can take a flying leap.
"I'm not sure Corrin will agree to that.
Well, you go and
want
tell
to
him.
come through his territory, you pay the toll."
What toll? I've never had to pay a toll before.
Looks at the others. He thinks for a moment. He says, "You've never paid a toll before."
No.
So
have
you don't know how much the toll is then?
Have any of you? And I turn to Adrik.
No, I'm afraid not. We've been away on excursion for quite a while.
Yes.
So you don't know how much the toll is then?
Well, no. We've never had to pay a toll.
Right.
This is quite the. I'm feeling rather put out here.
Leith, can you make a insight check, please? Adrik, you can make the insight check too. Edryn, you can make an insight check as well because you're also
21.
21. Okay. You get the impression he's asking you about whether or not you know the usual cost of the toll because he's about to fuck you.
19.
Same for you. So.
I got a 16.
16. Okay. It's quite clear. He's about to try and rip you off. You can see it in his eyes. He says, "So you don't know how much the toll is, then?"
I'm gonna push between the two of them.
All right.
And say, "They're new," and hand him 20 gold.
20 gold. He looks at it.
20 gold.
He says, "Oh, very well then. I suppose." He takes the money. "On your way then. Stand down, boys." And they all step back.
I must say, I'm really not impressed. I will be reporting to your superiors.
Good luck with that.
I turn to the one I handed the gold to, and then, I mutter under my breath. I go, "Elves."
You hear him snigger back to you. All right, and you guys are kind of ushered through and allowed past. And up ahead, you see as you move into the darkness, and your dark vision adjusts to the new area that you've not really seen before because of the range of your dark vision. You step past the tower, and ahead of you, you see the road split into two directions. There's a larger road that winds its way up to the left, up this cavernous-looking chamber that curves around to the left-hand side, and another path that winds off to the right and stays at the level that you're at. And Zinn tugs on your arm, Adrik.
Hey?
So, which way do you want to go? I think it's to the right that we're looking, but I'm not 100% sure. I've not been here.
Let's I suppose we could ask, but let's try to move with some purpose. Actually, Zinn, shall you and I go and have a look ourselves?
I don't think we should go back. I've shown some strength there, so I think maybe we push on. Yeah.
I agree. We'll not be leaving.
All right.
Yeah, let's continue.
Do you think our dwarves, know if they turned left or right?
Oh, good idea. I'll turn to the captive dwarves and go. Do any of you know which way you came through here?
Well, I think we came this way, down from the top here.
Nah, that's as good a guess as we're going to get.
So to the left. And Zinn says that might. Wait a minute. Zinn has a different accent.
It's Zinn's Austrian.
Zinn's Austrian, yes. So Zinn says, I think that the road straight ahead is rising. It's going to go to the forge itself. Now, if we want to go to the forge, that's good. But, and I know there's a way out through the forge, but I am wondering if there's another way that will take us out closer to the lake here.
I'm wondering if we...
Is there any particular way that we could find out? Does anybody have any particular way of being able to find out if there's air coming through or light above or anything like that?
I think in either case, says Zinn, it's going to be a little way before we're going to find out like that.
I see.
It's still probably days away in either direction, my lord, Mystralath.
Should we perhaps flip a coin then?
Well, so right is the forge, which is a definite way out.
That is left. Left is the forge.
Left is the forge. Right is a way we think might, but we're not entirely sure.
Well, right is probably what I think is going to be a closer way out, but it on the same token, it might be more dangerous. There's less traffic this way. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there could be creatures this way too.
Well, I mean, there's like 20 something of us, so
unfed, cold, tired dwarves.
One of you's got a badger and the other one's got a bird. Yes. Why don't you use them to go either way?
My bird's not with me right now.
All right, Dup. Pull him out of my bag. He looks a little bit surprised that I am now a pale dwarf. But I say a few words that he recognizes. Feed him a little bit of cheese.
All right.
Hold him up and I go, now you're going to go... Wait, hang on a second. Either way, Zinn says it's going to take roughly a day before we get to the surface. So which way do we want Tup to go?
Potentially.
Wait, Zinn says, wait, I mean, it's going to be at least a day in either direction, but it's going to be more than a day if you go through the forge. It's going to take possibly weeks.
Okay.
But I do know that there's guaranteed a way out through the forge.
Well, it depends if we want to distance or just fight our way through some potential nasties in the Underdark.
I think if we end up spending weeks down here, then the folks upstairs on Lockharte Lake aren't going to be are going to probably end up sending a search party for us, and that's going to be a lot of time, energy, and money. So I think we go for what's suspected to be the quickest route, even if it is dangerous.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Leith. All right, to the right then.
Oh, Brixton and Gudael, do you have any thoughts? Are you happy with us going to the right? Left, right?
Yes, I'm happy with going to the right.
Well, I'm happy with going to the right.
I guess it's all right then.
One of the dwarves comes forward to you. One of the ones that you met last time in the group, and she says, I do have one thing to add to this conversation, if I may.
Please do.
Well,
yes.
While we did go through the forge last time, we were coming down from the Banachire, and we came through the Banachire underground all the way here, you see. So the path through the forge leads all the way there to the mountains, beyond the lake, beyond Highbrook. But I can also tell you that in the forge there's a lot of Bhooyagh if you look for them. And beyond that, there's the runes I told you about. Do you remember?
And
also, those Bhooyagh have been amassing a lot of treasure in the time that they've been there. So it's up to you, of course, but if we were to return to the Banachire and we were to take all that gold, well, we'd be heroes. Well, I'm just saying, of course, you are in charge, and you did emancipate us from, we'd still be prisoners of the drow by now if it hadn't been for you. I'll leave you with that to think about.
I'll be honest, I'm more interested in the runes than going back to the Banachire, to be honest. I don't feel I can step into our home mountains just yet. But those runes do interest me. That being said, it's not my decision.
Well,
Friends,
I do think that getting back to the island would be a better idea. I feel that Maith will be able to point us in the right direction, and will be able to offer some refuge you all for the umbrage that you've been put under. So and we'll probably end up at the Banakaya anyway, from here.
Maith as well as the king that we are now oath-bound to.
Well, yes.
And we could always come back to the forge. I'm sure there's some useful magical applications for Maith's Brigand's campaign. So I agree. Let's take the shorter route out and we'll see if we can come back.
To the right. Yes.
Aye.
All right. So you traipse on to the right then. And you notice various graffitis on the walls at this point. Some of it large, some of it writ small, some of it perhaps in blood. And you continue this way, and there's all sorts of grungy-looking, slimy substances, either dripping from the walls or from the ceiling in places. And as you continue, you can all make a perception check. Hooray! 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 Hurrah! Hurrah!
That's one solid ass 10.
Wow, that's what we call a gentleman's 10.
With a solid ass.
With a solid ass. Basically, it has a silver donkey on the back of it. It's solid, and it's a donkey.
I see.
19!
19! Excellent. So we've got a 17 and a 19 and a 14 from Mr. Brixton. Very well. You guys all hear in the distance the tumbling and rumbling of water, presumably water, coming from ahead. And as you approach, it gets louder to the point where it's quite freaking loud. And as you come around the corner into this large chamber, there is a kind of a big pool of churning water and a huge waterfall coming from above, just pouring into it. And up above, you can see there's this actually a massive circular, almost, it looks man-made pipe, except that it's like 100 feet wide, and it's just pouring water out through to here. And Zinn looks up at it. He says, perhaps that comes from some sort of reservoir, something the giants built.
That's a mighty fine guess, but there's no way of really telling. Actually, that's the fire giants would have needed a way to cool their arms. So that's quite a good guess, actually.
I've heard of these pipes. People have tried to swim in them and died.
Right, so we're definitely not going to swim in them then.
Well, you'd have
Well,
to
now,
get up
hold
there.
on. That's just what the water wouldn't expect. So, you might survive.
Zinn looks at you completely confused.
It's a joke, Zinn, don't worry.
A joke?
Aye.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
It's okay. You'll
Don't
acclimatize to
worry,
the humor
he's not very
eventually.
good at it.
I'm not sure I understand what he meant either, Zinn, but and I know what his jokes are like, so it's
They're not jokes. They're an effort at something, but they're not
I
jokes.
appreciated the effort, Adrik.
Adrik kicks a pebble off the path.
Can I
Thank
ask,
you, Edryn. At least someone.
It reminds me of my Uncle Gadolf. Very flat humor. In a good way.
I want to ask a question. Adrik,
Aye.
Zinn says, are we going to come back through here again sometime one day? Is this my last time to say goodbye to this place?
No, Zinn. Absolutely not. I promised you. At some point in the future, when you're ready, we'll be coming back, and we'll be getting you revenge.
Right.
But that may be a while from now.
I do want to see Abnog Gur.
Now?
Well, not now. We're going the wrong way.
I can assure you, we'll be coming back to see Obnagur at some point in the future, but it may not be for a while.
Very well.
If we're to come back down this way, I'd wager it will be in the next few weeks, potentially, to try and take that forge.
Right. Up ahead now, you see, you go through this chamber, and there's all this murky vegetation.
Is somebody making a map?
That's a good point, actually. But following Barry's thing, I guess, does anybody have any skill with calligraphy? I mean, not, cartography. Because Adrik's got. Yeah.
I'd be making notes of which way we're going. Nothing particularly fancy, but I'd definitely be writing down. We went this way for this long, and then this way, roughly this long. You know, nothing particularly special, but just making notes on which way we're going.
Because have any of us got a good memory? Like, because a map's the only way if none of us have got good memories.
Well, we certainly between us, we should be able to retrace our steps. But don't you have some sort of tools as some sort of a pickpocket, Milford, to be able to lay sort of?
I can forge
markings.
Things. I can forge things, so maybe I can make a map.
Could you potentially leave markings on as we make our way through, so we can just follow those on the way back, like on the walls and stuff?
I suppose so, but anybody could bugger them up.
All right then. I suppose it's up to me then. And Adrik pulls out a chisel and just starts marking in giant whenever they take a corner or something.
Okay, so you're going to start marking turns.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you go back at all to do that, or you just continue from here?
I think continue from here. I think it's a bit too unsafe to go on our own at this stage.
All right. Okay. As you continue, can you make perception checks for me again? Dun, 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 dun.
Way better. I got an 8.
Leith 11.
11.
Edryn 10. Adrik an 8. Gudael and Milford. Milford a 15. Gudael a 15. Well, wow, you guys both got the same. Amazing. Okay, so what you guys hear up ahead is some footsteps and grumbling. Dwarven grumbling sounds. Just Milford and Gudael. Coming from around a corner.
Those aren't our dwarves, are they, Milford?
They're not.
Oh. We've got some company coming, team.
Right.
How many did it sound like?
10, 15?
Oh.
Dwarves? Dwarves are friendly, aren't they?
Well, the Bhooyagh are considered dwarves, and they're less friendly.
Welcome.
How long has
back
it
on
been?
the couch.
How long has it been since we passed through the Bhooyagh gate?
Let's say about an hour now.
Okay.
Do we try and press on in disguise, or do we formulate some different plan?
That's a good point, actually. Sorry, Russell. I've been wearing Milford's hat of disguise. How long does the disguise spell run? Oh, action to cast disguise spell from it at will. Oh, because I'm probably just recasting it on myself then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lasts an hour, disguise self.
Yeah. So here's the point. Yeah. So here's the question: do you recast it upon yourself here, or do you wait till it runs out?
I think that the best course of action, at least for now still, is to try and maintain our disguises.
Okay.
Right.
All right. You also notice that up ahead there's a little bit of a side alley that you could use to try and hide in. But you'll have to get the whole group to go in there and shut up for a good minute while these dwarves go past. Do you want to do that, or are you going to try and talk your way past them?
I reckon talk our way past, guys.
Well, it worked last time. I'm feeling rather good about it. I think we can manage.
Lead
I
the way,
agree.
Leith.
All right, so you're going to just continue? All right. So you continue around the corner, and you discover, in fact, there's only 4 of them. A small group of Bhooyagh. And they look like guards. They look like they're on a patrol, actually. They're not miners, they just seem to be patrolling. And they stop and halt as they see you and present their weapons forward. They seem a little bit nervous because there's quite a lot of you.
Put those down. We're no harm to you.
Right then. Who are you?
That's none of your business.
I feel it is my business. I've been charged with protecting the highways and byways here of the Forge.
Well, who are you?
Who am I is none of your concern. I live here, and I've been charged with this sacred task by Jazayn and Corrin of the foreman and headman of the Forge.
Well, you go and talk to them and tell them that we've got prisoners and we need to be let through.
Why are you going this way? Why are you not going directly to the Forge? You should
You're
be
leading them to
presenting
the-
yourselves to the king there.
Not empty-handed, friend. We're leading them to the mine to collect some ore.
Can you make a persuasion check, please, Adrik?
Oh boy, I can't wait for this to... Ooh, that's a 5!
You can do it with advantage because just because I have reasons.
That's a 9. The universe fucking hates me.
All right, he looks at you. He kind of steps a bit closer to you, Adrik. And
Can I help
as he
you?
steps towards you, he enlarges till he's at full size. As Bhooyagh can change their size the same as Adrik can as a rune knight. And he comes up to you and he's basically trying to intimidate you. He gets a 16 for intimidation on that, so he's quite scary. All right, and his eyes glow red. And he says, "You need to listen to me. Either you all turn back or you present yourselves to me now."
Adric's going to enlarge. And how tall is he?
Oh, well, how tall is he? These are great questions. I think you can all roll initiative if you like, just in case. Just in case this all turns sour. And that'll give you something to do with that while I'm doing some quick bit of paperwork over here. You know how that goes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Populating the encounter.
Populating an encounter. Don't say anything.
Can I very secretly cast guidance on Adrik?
I believe you can. It only takes a touch.
Okay, so
Gudael,
secretly.
what does guidance do again?
Once before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice. So I should have done it earlier. I apologize.
This is fine. You didn't know I was gonna try to spook this guy.
Okay, so did you roll your initiatives?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Milford, what's your initiative?
Milford.
18.
18.
Whew.
Edryn, what's your
So
initiative?
was mine.
4.
Not so great. Leith, how's your initiative?
Mine was the same as Milford's, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, 18.
Okay, so which one of you... Oh, I guess I'll just let the machine tell me which one's going to go first. Adrik?
10.
10. All right. And
Gudael also got 18, actually.
holy mother of...
Yeah, that's anomalous, man.
Okay. All right. So, So you got to go giant. Okay, and your question at this point is, how big do they get?
Yeah.
Because
mine is a different flavor of giant. Because what I'd compare is their your mobile pie. Mine is more of a Mackenzie's pie.
Right.
Okay.
More premium.
For our American viewers.
Oh right, for American viewers, I'd say it's a grease. Their giant is probably like a Greasy's truck stop pizza, while mine is a gorgeous Chicago deep dish pie.
All right, so the Bhooyagh increases in size. Everything that's wearing increases. Doesn't actually say exactly. Basically, he's gone from medium to large, so he's the size of an ogre.
So we're both standing at about 10 feet tall.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're pretty much toe to toe, eye to eye at this point. It's basically he's stepped towards you and gone and increased in size, and you've done the same thing now. So you and this Bhooyagh are standing facing face to face. The Rune Knight, the Dwarven Rune Knight, and the Ashen Dwarf, face to face, nose to nose.
Before we actually enter combat, I'm going to cast Hex on the guy that's just grown.
Okay.
And make it dexterity.
All right, so it's going to be a dexterity thing. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. I mean, you don't have to actually fight at this point. I'm just in case.
Nope. Yeah. Just putting it on him. Just casually.
All right. So what do you do, Adrik, at this point?
Now they're looking him in the eye. You know better than to do that. There's no need for conflict.
He looks over your shoulder. You sure have a lot of slaves here.
Because we want to bring a whole lot back to the forge. Is there a problem with efficiency, brother?
He says, I've seen some of these slaves before.
How can you tell a mountain dwarf from a mountain dwarf?
Were not these slaves passing through these very halls only nights ago in the company of D'Azorak the Drider?
I would know. I would know.
The
I found
slave
them
mistress.
I wouldn't know. I found them wandering on their own. Perhaps D'Azorak failed.
You see, Zinn basically steps behind you, Gudael. Sort of steps around behind you. And a lot of the dwarves are sort of shuffling on their feet, looking around, looking away, trying to hide their faces.
Now, are you going to let my slaves, myself, and our very kind, paying drow masters through, or are we going to have a problem?
He nods, and then he steps to the side. He says, I best see you come back through here in the next how many hours do you think it'll be, Mr. What's your name again?
My name?
Yes.
You can call me Adrik.
Adrik? Ooh, that's an uncommon name.
My parents were eccentric.
Unlikely, but alright.
That's very unkind of you to say. What's yours? I've not seen you around.
My name? Hang on a second. He says, I'm Sigrid. This is Hillenot, Magrin, and Nuthra.
You gentlemen all scouts?
We're not scouts, we're guards.
Oh, so you're stationary. No wonder I haven't seen you around.
More.
Yes, well, thank you for your time, gentlemen. I think we should be moving on now.
Aye. So, before we go, slaves, how many hours do you think you'll need to mine ahead?
They look around and kind of look at their feet. One of them goes, a few hours, perhaps 6 hours.
6 hours. Takes an hour more, you'll be getting a lashing from me. You understand?
That's right, you give them lashings, alright. Make them bleed, these filthy, surface-dwelling Banakaians.
You see what you'll make me do? I'm gonna have to whip you just for wasting this lovely gentleman's time.
You find one precious jewel, you bring it to me.
Of course, a little bit off the top never hurt nobody.
Aye.
Alright, let's be making our way. Go, you lot, ahead.
Off you be then. Go.
And I'm gonna slip him 5 gold in his gauntlet. Go. Thank you for your patience.
He watches you guys continue. And off you go, off around the corner until the very last one of your dwarves gets around the corner. And you're all able to take a deep breath and sigh. Damn it, I made you roll for initiative and everything.
Oh, and I wasted one of my pact slots as well, so...
Okay, Gudael, how long does the guidance last?
Guidance just says once. Up to a minute.
Okay, I'm sorry for making you waste that.
It's a cantrip.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
I can have them come back and fight you if you like.
Wait, you didn't pay enough.
Alright, so you continue on, and you come out into another chamber, and there's a pool of water on the left-hand side that's kind of curving around through the chamber. This is kind of overflow from that previous reservoir that you came across earlier. And the water is looking a bit thicker and murkier and goopier, and it's a bit greener, and there's sludge in it at this point. And up ahead, the chamber, there's this sort of vegetation hanging around the roofs and what have you, and as you go through, you get to this point where you notice is actually that the pathway that you're going down is about to enter a pipe, one of those ancient giant pipes.
And is it it's currently just barren, no water or anything inside it?
Well, there's a little bit of water on the bottom, but nothing much, no. It's definitely not
Active pipe.
an active pipe right now, yes.
Okay, cool.
Zim, is this definitely the way we want to be going?
I'm not so certain. If the water is coming from...
Oh, Gudael, you've gone on silent.
Coming from...
We lost you, Gudael.
Oh,
Yep. You were saying something about if the water was coming from ...
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, sorry. And coming from, was it from Lake Lockharte? That waterfall that we passed not too long ago.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'd imagine that's a fairly good guess. And it's somewhat drained away?
Yes, and it's getting murkier the further we go, so if the source is back that way...
Are you still walking while you're talking?
Yep,
Yeah.
I think so.
I would
And
say
this
so.
Gudael stopped to make a very good point.
Okay.
I think we're walking as we're talking.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
I'm just a little nervous of going down a pipe when we've just been told that no one's actually been seen coming out of these pipes. So,
Do you want me to go and have a look?
well,
Not by yourself, Brixton, just in case you slip into something.
Who wants to come with me then?
I mean, Milford's probably the most steady-footed of all of us.
Aye, but I was thinking just in case there's something living down here.
Ah, yes, true.
You got a good point there.
If there's one thing I know about the Underdark, it's mighty treacherous. There's a whole lot down here that you don't want to tussle with.
At this point, you're approaching the entrance to the pipe. Okay? And as you get up to the entrance, suddenly, this huge mound of goo erupts from the floor underneath you. Adrik, it swipes at you. What's your armor class?
One of the dwarves has my shield still, so it's a 17.
First of these slam attacks hits you, and you take 18 points of
Holy
bludgeoning
shit.
damage.
Wow.
The second one swoops out and hits you again. You take another 19 points of bludgeoning damage.
My god.
Are you still alive?
Barely.
Okay, at this point, you are gonna make a DC 14 athletics check.
Oh, thank god, it's one of my better ones. Please. Oh, thank god, it's a 19.
Okay, well, you are currently grappling with this huge monstrosity that has just erupted out of the ground, out of the basically the refuse and detritus that's laying on the floor here. These leaves and, well, not necessarily leaves, but vegetation, rotted vegetation, piles of it. And it's trying to wrap itself around you in two different places, and you're fighting it with both arms right now. Now everybody can make an initiative roll.
Russell, could I use my reaction to use my stone rune on it while it's grappling me?
What does it do?
Let me just reread the thing.
Let's save my bad rolls for things that don't matter quite so much.
Milford, I saw
rolled a
your
1.
initiative was 16. Edryn, what's your initiative?
2.
2.
Same.
Leith, 2 was it?
Yep.
2 people rolled a 1 and 2 people rolled a 13.
Adrik, what's yours?
Mine. Ooh, let me double check. Sorry, I was distracted by reading the thingy.
That's alright. Sorry.
It is a. That's okay. It's a 13.
13. And Gudael,
21.
21. Wow.
Okay, so my rune. At the end of a creature's turn, I can use my reaction to force it to make a Wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it is incapacitated.
Wow. Okay.
And just so we know for in the future, the only mention of it being able to break out is at the end of each of its turns, not if it takes damage.
Okay. Welcome, six staves to the Vaingate Chronicles. Thank you for following us. Okay, so Adrik, you're doing that. All right. So in the meantime, that you're going to try and do that as a reaction. Is that right?
Yeah. So as a reaction to the that's at the end of its turn.
At the end of its turn. Okay. All right. So that'll be after this initiative round, okay? Because it's just had a surprise
round?
attack on you.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. So Gudael, it is your turn, actually.
Okay, yes. I am going to channel divinity and restore 25 hit points to Adrik.
Wow.
Thank you.
Crikey dick. All right. 25 hit points to Adrik. Coming up. What else do you do? Is that an action or a bonus action?
That's an action.
All right.
And so as my bonus action, I'll get up my, you know what it's called.
Sacred weapon?
That's the one, my spiritual weapon.
Spiritual weapon. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so spiritual weapon is a sword, blue sword. Woof. It coalesces out of magic in front of you, and it goes zooming off to strike this creature. And you're going to roll to hit with that.
Mm-hmm. What is that?
A 19.
A 19.
19 does in fact hit, so you may do your damage, please.
Okay.
Wow, 10 points of damage. Yep. That's what I see. 10 points of damage. Okay, so you take off a little bit of gooey vegetation from its sort of shoulder appendage as it lurches out of the floor goo in your direction.
Right.
Milford, it's your turn.
Take out a torch and light it up from my
Okay.
pack.
So this is your action.
Yeah.
All right, you're lighting a torch. Okay, very good. Adrik, now you have an actual turn.
Spectacular. So I'm grappling it, right?
Yep. So we'll make a grapple check. I mean, you can attack from a grapple, actually.
Okay, cool. So then I'll swing my hammer of thunderbolts at it.
All right, roll to hit.
Do the thing, please. God, fucking, that's an 11.
That does not hit. Do you have
Cool.
any bonus actions?
I do, but I'm gonna make my second attack first.
Okay.
That is a 25.
25. That does hit. Roll your damage, please.
That is a total of 11 for that second hit.
Right.
And my action is going to be I'm going to use second wind.
All right, second wind.
That
gives you hit point
D10
recovery.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
Is that everything?
That is me.
All right. So now it's its turn again. Hang on, that was that hits.
Oh boy.
You take 8 points of damage. That's of course blunt force trauma, smacking you with its sort of large fist, like kind of appendage. The second attack comes flying at you. It's trying to grab you. That also manages to grab you again. 25 definitely hits, I think.
25 does hit.
Yep. You take another 15 points of damage.
Oh god.
Ouch.
Meantime, the other dwarves are kind of starting to get around. They're sort of surrounding the situation here because they've got weapons too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I recall you gave them all weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Adrik, you need to make a grapple check.
Cool, that's another athletics check. That is a 12, which I don't think does it, so I'm going to use my inspiration point.
All right.
That is much better. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. So what happens is while it's trying to grapple you, it opens this massive maw that just flips open and comes down towards you to try and bite your face, essentially. It tries to engulf you in its huge mouth. And you manage to pull away just in time. It slams shut right in front of your face. And for a moment you can smell this centuries-old stench of death and meat and goo and other things that you don't want to be involved with, trust me. Digestive
Delightful.
Juices of aberrations. Ugh. Okay.
So that's the end of its turn,
That's
right?
the end of its turn.
So I needed to make a DC 14 wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom, you say?
Yes.
Wisdom, I suspect. I do not have any bonuses to that. Fails that.
Cool. It is incapacitated for the next minute and can only escape its dreamy enchantment at the end of each of its turns.
Well, I think you got it, because it's not immune to charm. It's immune to blinding and deafening and exhaustion, but not charm. That's a charm, right? Does it cause the charm condition?
While charmed in this way, the creature's speed is 0 and is incapacitated, descending into a dreamy stupor.
Right. Can you attack it, or does that destroy the condition?
There's no mention of that. It just says that the creature repeats the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. There's no
okay.
other mention of that.
So it repeats the saving throw on each turn.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, in that case, Edryn, it's your turn.
Is there anyone but Adrik within 10 feet of this globule?
No.
All right.
Well, yeah, okay. Not right now, but they will be any minute, any second.
Okay. Adrik is looking rough, right?
Yeah. He's
About
been
halfway through my
smashed
hit
the
points.
shit out of. It's hard to say how well he's doing right now, because he has been hit literally 4 times by this massive pounding Hulk creature.
I'm gonna say, screw it. I'm gonna run up to him. I'm gonna hug him and say, come with me! And I'm gonna cast Thunder Step. So we're gonna bamf 25 feet away.
Which direction? Through it or back from where you are?
back from where we are, so 25 feet, keeping in mind that Adrik can only run 25 feet.
Okay.
And it must make a Constitution saving throw.
15.
15 just fails. So it takes... it takes 9 points of thunder damage.
Thunder damage. All right. Very well. It's quite surprised by the fact that you've just pulled Adrik out of its grasp. It's quite it sort of lurches around in various directions, searching for it. It clearly doesn't have eyes or ears or even a head per se, but it has some sort of sensory apparatus built into the whole thing. Could be some sort of tremor sense or something like that.
I'm gonna bend over, start breathing, pat Adrik on the back, and say, "You get him."
Thank you, Edryn.
Oh, worries, I just
Don't like it. Don't like it.
All right, it's still incapacitated right now, however. And Leith, it is your turn, sir. Cannot hear you right now.
You did describe it. You did describe it as two things coming up out of the.
Initially, but now
hole.
it's kind of one thing.
It's one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to chuck a firebolt at it.
It's one thing with various appendages. All right, roll to hit with your firebolt.
Yep. 25.
Well, that frickin' hits it, doesn't it?
Yep. Not quite a crit though.
Just about hit Demogorgon.
17 points of damage though.
17, and it's fire damage. Okay.
Yeah.
You notice that as the fire hits it, it kind of goes, and it doesn't really do anywhere near as much damage as you were expecting it to.
Oh, maybe resistant. Okay.
Okay, is that the end of your round, your turn? Do you have any bonus actions or?
I've used my hex, haven't I? Let me just check if I've got any other actions. Bonus. How does Adrik look at the moment?
Adrik doesn't look great, but he's not dead. He's not well. He's not maimed or anything.
I'm gonna throw him 2d6s. Or is it me? Heal one creature. Yeah, I'm gonna throw Adrik 2d6 of healing.
Okay.
From my healing light.
Roll your 2d6 of healing.
You want me to roll it?
What spell are you using for that?
My healing light ability.
Do you need to touch or anything for that?
You can heal one creature you can see within 60 foot.
All right, and how many hit points was it?
10 points.
10 points. There you go, Adrik. 10 points. All right, nice. Gudael, it's your turn.
I am going to attempt to turn undead on it.
Turn undead.
Channel divinity, turn undead.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, it goes fizz.
Fizz. Fizz as in what?
Fizz as in it's not undead.
Okay, then I'll just hit it with my my big blue sword again.
All right, so spiritual weapon, roll to hit.
$21.
21, that's most certainly hits.
Sweet.
And then, how much damage does the blue sword do?
100.
7 points of damage from the spiritual weapon. Excellent.
I was very close.
Very nice. Milford Brixton, you've now lit your torch. Yeah.
Did I see what happened when Leith fired fire at it?
What an excellent question. I was wondering if you would ask me that, and hoping that you would. You can make a perception check.
I knew you were going to say that. Now I have to switch everything back. Can you do it for me?
I can do that for you, Milford.
Thank you very
Brixton.
much.
You're welcome. That'll be $10.
You're a funny man.
For anyone wondering why Barry isn't rolling himself, he is allergic to numbers and he cannot go near them. This is the best he can do.
Yeah. Well, you rolled a 19 at my hand, I might add. So yes, you did notice the firebolt sizzling out upon striking this creature a moment ago. So you've managed to light your torch, and then you're like, oh, what?
Yeah, pretty much. Ah, crap. Okay. Put it out.
So you
It's pointless.
just drop it, or what?
No, I put it out properly.
Okay, you take your time to put it out properly, alright.
Yeah,
That's your action then. You could have
Yeah.
a free, if you dropped it, you could have a free attack action, but if you're going to muck around doing that, that's fine. I'm not going to complain. But when Adrik's dead, it'll be your fault.
Okay.
Just putting that right there firmly on your shoulders.
Okay,
I
no
have
pressure.
I have a tiny
no
drow
pressure.
to have dropped. Do you want him to be fatherless twice?
Alright, I don't drop it then. I drop it.
You drop
I
it.
drop it.
Okay, so you drop the torch and...
Take out my sword.
Okay. 2 swords?
Yeah. No, I haven't got 2 swords because I
Oh,
gave
that's
one
true.
to
You
somebody
lent
else.
one. You did. You lent your other sword to one of the other dwarves. Very well.
Yeah.
So you're going to charge with your sword?
Yes.
Alright, so you use up your movement to get to the creature,
Okay.
and you roll to hit. with your
And I
sword.
buff him with the sword.
Alright, you want me to roll for that too?
Yes, please.
Alright, here we go.
Seeing you rolling 19s.
Oh, wow, 22. That hits.
Okay,
All right.
and damage.
And your damage is a whopping 6 points of damage,
Cool.
which I shall add to the encounter any moment now. When I get back to the tab that has the encounter on it. Here we go. Alright, cool. Very good. Do you have a bonus action? Would you like to use it for anything?
I can put a dagger into it.
A dagger. Yes, you can do that.
Yes, I will do that.
Alright, very good. A dagger. Here we go. You get a +6 to hit with a dagger. 25. You hit with your dagger. And you get to add another 6 points of damage
Yep.
to your enemy. Very good. Alright. Adrik, it's your turn now. And you are now 25 feet away in the loving arms of your dear friend, Edryn Motkoff.
I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder and go, how many more of those can you do?
Just one.
Alright, hold that for later. And Adric's gonna charge in with his hammer back into the arms of death.
So it goes, boop, run. Okay.
And he's going to swing twice with his hammer of thunderbolts.
Alright, roll to hit, please, with your thunderbolt hammer business.
Russell, I'd like to do my special when you leave thing. I forgot the name of it.
Disengage?
Oh, disengage.
Yeah, disengage
Okay.
at some point, yeah, if I can.
Alright, so Edryn, that was a hit, was it?
That was a 25, yeah.
25, then you rolled 15 damage. Okay, cool.
Oh, wait, no, sorry, I haven't rolled the damage yet.
Oh, you haven't rolled damage yet.
My total damage was 12.
Total damage is 12. And your
So that
second hit?
my second hit now. Oh, luck be a lady, she's not. Is its AC perchance less than 13?
No.
Ah, well, then it just takes 12 damage.
Alright. Okay.
Bonus actions. What can I do as a bonus action? I am
You can
going to
disengage.
invoke my Frost Rune as a bonus action.
Invoke your Frost Rune as a bonus action. Your Frost
that's-
Rune will do what?
Nothing to it, but it gives me a +2 bonus to all ability checks and saving throws using Strength and Con. So if it tries to grapple me, I have a slightly better chance at getting out.
Alright, fair enough. Okay, it's going to make a saving throw. What's the DC?
14.
Okay. It suddenly snaps out of its incapacitation. However, that is at the end of its round, I believe. Is it not that it does that? End of its turn.
Check.
So it doesn't get to do anything, but it's no longer incapacitated.
Yep.
Edryn.
Oh. He's just gonna be bending over,
Taking it.
and oh, that's all he's doing this round.
That's all he's doing.
Because there's nothing else I can really do, to be honest.
All right, fair enough. You're not gonna even throw a dagger. Jeez.
I don't have a dagger. I gave my quarterstaff to one of the dwarves.
I didn't even think. Adrik still has both his hand axes, so I could have just given you that to throw. Damn it!
Next time. Next time.
All right,
Next
Leith.
time.
Leith Mystralath. What do you do? First, you will need to unmute yourself. That will be your first action.
I'm going to Eldritch Blast it twice.
All right.
I rolled a 25 on the first one
Oh wow.
and
That
a
hits.
7 on the second one. So I'm guessing
All right. So damage from your first Eldritch strike, please.
is a 5.
A massive 5 points of damage from Eldritch Blast.
That was a little bit more disappointing than I thought it was going to be.
Anything else you've got up your sleeve there, sir?
Does Adrik look like he's managing, or does he need some more hit points?
Adrik, how do you feel right now?
On a scale of 1 to 49, I'd say I'm about a 30.
Right.
I feel like I've had a moderate beating by thugs in New York. Not quite a real beating. They only wanted my wallet.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Were they?
It's not
Leith's
a-
like, you'll be fine then.
Right. Could have been worse. They could have been after your
Chicago
shoes.
card
Yeah.
sharks.
We just like to say sorry to all the thugs in New York for that comment. Thank you.
Right. Right. Fair enough. Okay. Gudael.
Gudael. Gudael's going to attempt a sacred flame. She's seen that the actual flame doesn't do anything, but she's wondering about sacred flame.
And that's going to be a dex check, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
For-
Yes.
For the creature. Yeah.
The target must succeed a dexterity saving throw
DC.
or take
What's the difficulty rating? Difficulty class.
So 1d8 radiant
That's
damage.
the damage. I want to know what the difficulty. What does the creature have to roll above to avoid it?
Yeah. 13.
13. Okay, it fails. You get to roll your d8 damage.
Hurrah!
Hurrah! Hurrah!
It is.
Okay, 4 points I see there. Okay, so it doesn't really even have a chance. The sacred flame materializes above the creature and drops on it and sears it, doing significantly more damage than the actual fire because this is radiant damage and not fire damage. These small differentiations, is that a word? Differentiations make a difference, at least in Dungeons and Dragons. So there you go, it does 4 points damage. Excellent. Recorded.
Sweet.
Do you have any other actions? You want to use your sacred weapon, or was that a
Oh,
bonus
yes.
action?
That
Was sacred flame an action or a bonus action?
flame is an action.
Okay, so you can still use your sacred weapon then.
Yes.
Spiritual weapon. So roll to hit with your spiritual weapon, please.
18.
That hits.
Sweet. And a 7.
7 points of damage. Excellent. Right at that point, you've managed to chop off a significant portion of vegetation off its body between the group. It's a little bit trimmed. Milford. Mr. Brixton.
Yes, my good sir.
Mr. Milford Brixton, what would you like to do on your turn?
Oh, I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time, but I'm gonna do it better, hopefully.
Right, so sword, short sword, and dagger, right?
That's right.
That's right. Right then, short sword coming up right now. +6 to hit. You rolled a natural 9. It's a 15. That actually hits. That's its armor class. Boom. You chop it with your short sword. And you do a massive 9 points of damage with your short sword, actually. Which is not bad. It's a good thud. Good thunk. Alright, and now you're going to try and hit it with your dagger, yeah?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yes, I am. And this is your bonus action, so you won't be getting any strength damage bonuses to that. You roll an 18 plus 6 is 24. You stick it right in there. Yeah. And
I like to make a point when I'm doing something,
you
you
do
know.
make a point. 6 points of damage worth of points, in fact. Excellent. Right. Doesn't like that. Adrik, 'tis your turn.
I'm going to do something different this round, and I'm going to hit it with my hammer again. First hit is... first hit's going to be underhand. That's 27 to hit.
27 to hit. All right. You hit it in... If it had a groin, that's where you hit it.
That's a 14 damage for that first hit.
Wow. All right.
Second hit is a lovely 24.
Okay. All right. Damage for your second hit.
13. This is down, swing back like a cheerleader spinning a baton. Bam! Top of the head. That would be 12 or 27 on that. And how's it looking before I do my next thing?
It's looking very smashed, honestly. It's reduced in size considerably. It's starting to slump down onto the floor. It's starting to wish it never tried this business in the first place.
I'm going to do my action surge because I've got up to a very good rhythm.
Okay.
And I am going to step back, hunch my shoulders, and really lean into this one. Boy, watch this be a nat 1. It's not. It is another 24.
All right. How much damage do you do this time?
Total of 15.
How do you kill it?
So, bam! Baton mav, bam! So it's hunched down. Takes a mighty step back, slams his heel onto the ground. So it's like a large thud. Grits his teeth like, all right, you had your fun. Wham! And then I'm just going to, again, paste it against the side of this pipe.
Right, and you do, and it splatters. And that's the end of it. It stops moving now. You guys just did 136 points of damage all up, something like that.
Ooh.
Right then. How's everyone feeling?
Wow, Adrik, that was quite something.
Well, I think I'm finally getting the hang of this nice big hammer, so yeah, quite happy with that.
Well, yeah, yes, it seems to do quite a bit of damage.
Thank you both for your healing. I would not be among you were it not for your kind donations.
Oh, and I know what that's like, not being among people. It's not very comfortable at all.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, is there anything of note inside its foliage? Because Adrik's a little bit he doesn't feel happy with this thing. It's like, I'm going to see if there's anything of worth in you, you piece of shit.
All right, so you're going to rip it open and start cutting through its disemboweled, dismembered pieces, searching for some sort of remains.
Zinn, look away.
Okay, Zinn looks away. Funnily enough, you do find the bones and fetid corpses of some Bhooyagh, presumably Bhooyagh. They might be dwarves of some other nature, but they look like Bhooyagh based on the what they're wearing. There's a few coins among them. There's about 15 worth of gold. Really?
I'm gonna take it out, and I'll give one to each of the dwarves.
Ew.
And one for you, and you,
They're
and
all
you.
very kind of. All the markings on them have been kind of scarred from the acidic juices of the shambling mound that you have defeated.
As I've always said, gold is a solid investment.
Right.
You can bury it in your backyard. It's great.
Very
Oh,
well.
shall we?
Indeed. Is Gudael able to channel divinity again and give Adrik another?
How many times can you channel divinity before a long rest?
That's an action. I can do that all night.
I don't think you can.
Oh, really?
It is specific. Yeah, you get a certain amount of charges.
Ah.
Depending.
Shall we take a long rest then?
Or even just a
No,
brief
not in
one.
these pipes.
Let me have a look.
Okay.
On your
I might
behalf.
have to do some research on that then. Sorry, I thought it was under my actions.
Yeah, I mean, if we go to class features, right? So your features and traits on your character sheet, and then go to class features, and then we'll go down to channel divinity.
It says
Yes,
one
chance.
per long
One per-
rest,
Okay, gotcha.
and then
Then I'll-
6th level it's 2 per long rest.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
Turn undead you can do per short rest, I think.
Right. Okay.
Anyway,
Got it.
Yeah, check that out. Have a bit of a read of that when you get a moment between all these massive combat encounters and such. All
No,
right.
Orson D, we're currently at 5th level.
You guys aren't 6th yet? What? What? Hell no, they're not. That'd be a bit too... What do you think I am? Some sort of XP slut?
he don't complain, guys. He gives us loads of rests. This is fine.
It does, yeah.
Loads of rests and loads of gold as well.
I
Loads.
was about to
of
say,
gold. Not to mention
speaking
magic
of
items
rests,
up the
Yeah.
wazoo.
Brixton
we're doing-
suggested a long rest. Do we just want
I
to have
don't know
a
if it's
short
occurred
little
to
one?
anybody.
D&D Beyond add-on isn't out. That's weird. Why is that
I
not
don't know
working?
if it's occurred to anybody, but we haven't really done the mission that we were sent to do, you know.
You mean like clear out the goblin cavern and we tried and then there was a cave-in, so to speak. 2 of them actually.
I think they're going to be hardly upset when we go up there and they say, what did you do? And we say, well, actually, there's a lot of goblins down there, you know. Quite a few, and we didn't do anything to destroy them, you know.
We destroyed an absurdly large number of them, and then Adrik tried to do something to benefit the rest of us, but
And
it
I
didn't
guess-
work out.
And I guess we found out something interesting. There's a way to add no gur.
Aye, and
They should be impressed with that, too.
I'm of the opinion that forge down there, highly magical. Haven't had a look at it yet, but if we manage to clear the Dweger out, then that could become useful for Bragan's campaign.
Well,
Indeed.
it could be a good place for us to store the treasure.
Also true.
That was the whole original idea, wasn't it? A place to store the treasure.
Well, yes.
And we haven't achieved that.
It's
Well-
it's pending.
One step at a time, Milford.
You're gonna tell the king that we're pending. I'm sure he's gonna be impressed by that.
Oh,
I'm sorry, my king, but I'm pending at the moment.
At the same time, we can also bring our Bragan. I know you've just started this whole campaign, but are you king yet, or is that pending?
Milford, I do just want to make sure that we can get out of here and back up to the surface before we report anything. We're not sure that we can actually get out of here.
That's a good point. Reconnaissance and information are just as valuable as gold.
Yes.
Indeed.
I
The next
hope
time
the
we
king
come down, we'll
sees it
be.
that way. I really do. You know,
What were you about to say, Dala?
I was just going to say that the next time we come down here, we'll be better prepared.
Much better prepared.
the next time we come down.
Are we
Adrik's
thinking
gonna-
of taking a rest, or
Shall we take a rest?
Adrik-wise, he's burned out all of his things just to get to that guy.
short or long? Do you think?
I say long. What do you think, Leith?
Well, I didn't take any real hits, but I do need to. I'm a little worried about my spells. I might have to start relying on my staff soon.
I'm quite happy for a short rest.
Oh.
But I mean, if spells are highly valuable, so.
Well, you're the most beat up of us, Adrik. I think it really is up to you.
Well, I mean, just this little thing. He taps the iron stone. This'll fix me up in about an hour.
Oh,
Okay.
So, quick rest.
short
Quite
rest
good.
it is then.
All
That
right.
sounds good.
Very well. Is anyone going to sleep during this short rest, or is it no? It's just a short rest, right?
Yeah. I do just want to do one thing during that short rest while waiting. Zinn, do you have any weapons there, just in case?
Not really. I've got some cutlery here. That's.
All right. Here you go. Hold on to this for now. And Adrik hands him one of his hand axes.
Are you sure, my lord? That is a big axe for me. It
Well,
feels good though. It feels good. I can use this.
I'll show you how to use it when we get back to the surface. You'll be just as deadly as me before you know it.
Will I be
But
able to cut trees up there, sir?
Yes, actually. There's
I-
always need of wood.
I've never seen a proper tree before.
Oh, there's a lot for you to see, lad.
Oh.
There's a lot for you to look forward to. I remember my first time seeing a sunrise. Now that was something.
I'm a little bit frightened of that.
It's-
There's
it
going
takes
to be
a bit
two
of getting
them
used to.
each day. Is that right?
Aye? And at night, moons. Well, they're not quite. They're broken bits of an exceptionally large temple.
What happened to the moon and the sun?
The suns, I'm not entirely. I can't quite remember, but the moon, once a single large temple to. God, I keep. Sorry, Russell. I keep forgetting the. What's her name?
Sehanine Moonbow.
Thank you. There was once an exceptionally large temple to Sehanine Moonbow, but Grumsh, the Orc deity, threw a large rock at her, the comet of Pakant, and it split the moon into everything it is now.
Wow. And
Aye.
what? Forgive me, Mr. Adrik. What even is a moon?
A moon is a very large rock that floats. Oh, hit my mic. That floats around the world you're on.
Is it magical then, if it floats like that?
Boy, there's magic in everything.
Is it like that thing around your head? That thing?
Now this, I plucks it momentarily. This is called an Ioun stone, so it's attuned to me, and that's not a bad comparison to make. I'd wager the moon's attuned to the planet, or the several moons.
I see. So you've got your own moon that floats around your head.
Yeah, you could say that. Now, what this does is it heals me. When I take every hour, it invigorates me.
I see.
So I can take a few more hits because of it.
Where
I
did
don't
you
have to
get it from?
exhaust. It was a gift. Prior to coming here, we were in a place called Vaingate. Great
I've heard
name.
of that place.
And I was initially contracted by my cousin and the sorcerers there to excavate and do research on giant artifacts. The rest of us joined me shortly after, and we found Dala, and he gestures over at Gudael, Dala, in a vestige of the Underdark. Now, to answer your question, this Ioun stone, potentially, and look, I can't verify that, this my large hammer here, whom I will call Terry, and my belt, all found in the Underdark, amongst this enormous hoard of giant treasure.
Wow. Right, well, he seems suitably impressed. And he just sort of sits down and wonder at your whole story. He doesn't have anything to say about it. His just head is full of wonder right now.
So Zinn, had you never heard the story of the Pakad? And do you know of orcs at all?
I've heard of orcs. They're fearsome creatures that kill elves, I understand, but they're... Actually, I've seen a few, but not for a long time. Sometimes the Bhooyagh bring them down through to Aboleth-The Underlock to sell them.
Oh.
They're big, are they not? They have tusks on their faces.
Yes, and like you, I grew up believing that they were fearsome and evil, and I found out recently that they're not.
They're not?
No, it's difficult for me as well, but apparently they're not.
How odd. They seemed fearsome, the ones that I saw.
Yes, most of the ones I've encountered seemed much the same, but I suppose...
What do you mean that they're not, then? How can you say that?
A very wise man told me that, and also
Do you believe everything that you hear?
Well, I've seen things. I've encountered orcs who displayed behaviors that were not consistent with what I believed of them. They were protected.
Nothing's quite so black and white as good and evil, Zinn. Sometimes there's just desperation. Sometimes there's fear. Sometimes it's pride. But more often than not, you'll find kind people can also do terrible things by their own virtue.
Zinn seems a little confused, but he's listening.
What this lot is trying to tell you, Zim, is there's good and bad in every bunch, no matter who they are.
I see. So, are you telling me that you have done bad things too?
Oh yes, I've done some bad things in me time, lad.
What kind of bad things have you done, Mr. Brixton?
Oh, let's make that for a day when you're an older person.
You know that I'm probably older than you are.
Probably, but not in some ways.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there are things that someone like you who's been confined to one place, you might find too shocking or too nasty.
You'd be surprised, I think. I've seen Aboleth-The Underlock. I was cast out by my own mother.
That's true, lad. But you'll find that people don't always want to share what they've done that's bad, Whether they be elf or orc or anything else. Sometimes they want to keep that to themselves.
Very well. Well, I should let you all sleep or rest. Rest. And you guys take your short rest.
And you should get some yourself.
Alright, so the group basically sort of huddles down for a little while and gets its rest, and after an hour you've recuperated some hit points and some spell slots, depending on who you are. Possibly spell slots. Actually, that would only be a sorcerer. We don't have any sorcerers, do we?
I get spell slots back.
Do you?
I do. I get a
my
certain amount back as well.
Really?
My pact slots restore on a short rest.
Tells you what I know. Nothing.
And I get arcane recovery.
I know nothing, Jon Snow. So, at the end of your rest, apparently Gudael's gone out like a light. She's having a bit of a lie down.
No, we can't wait here too much longer. I'll carry her.
Okay.
Just help me get on my back nice and gently. I don't want to just pick her up and hit her in an unaccountable place with my hammer. So she has to walk.
I didn't realize she was so heavy.
I think it's the leather, or the imperious righteous justice of Sehanin. I don't know who even knows.
Okay, but don't tell her I called her heavy, will you?
I wouldn't dare.
Okay, now let me get this.
All right,
you gotta.
Just around my hammer.
No, don't put your elbow up her nose.
Oh.
Look, I'll just
gently.
try and. Oh.
There we go. That's better.
Watch where you put your hand. Watch. No, that's me, you fool. Yeah.
Well, if you weren't so close, I wouldn't be grabbing you.
Ah,
There we go.
okay.
Is anything hanging off?
No.
Brilliant.
Orson D has a question for you guys. He says,
I cannot see the chat.
Orson says, during the long, short rests, do you guys have small conversations with each other, explore your backstories and motivations? I think the short answer to that is yes, they do. And some of them have been quite impressive, quite emotional, actually. There was one in particular that I recall off the bat where we discovered they started talking about fatherhood, which was fascinating. What other conversations have you guys had? I remember one with Gudael was teaching Leith about meditation, and they were having a conversation about Leith's background and what have you. And
Yep, introduced the ideas of my cult and her meditations and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Edryn's been remarkably silent in terms of backstory.
Edryn and Brixton.
And Brixton, actually.
Although there was that I did talk about my boy with with Adrik, and I did also ask him to, when we got close to seawater, for him to sing me a lullaby.
That's true, yeah.
Replacing the words father with mother.
Right, which was very interesting.
Yeah, it was nice.
Very interesting. Yeah,
Because issues.
Because issues.
Issues.
Edryn's got issues.
That's just a big thing to unload there. Anything to do with deep water and tentacles was the main thing. That was the issue, which can be solved with lullabies, which is a bit odd. And then the lullaby specifically mentioned the father, and he was like, "Can you change it to the mum?" It's like a parcel of issues.
Right. Lots of
I
issues.
do love pasta parcels.
Parcel.
Right.
You got the parcel at the moment.
I've got the power. Okay.
All right, shall we go?
Onwards you march, up through the Underdark, and eventually the passage begins to rise and curl and wind and turn, and it breaks into some steps. And then it comes out into a chamber that's kind of roughly hewn stone and mud. And you can make perception checks, please.
I can.
Perception.
That's a
Everyone roll perception.
That's a crit one. Now, my question to you is, could I potentially, with a free hand, lift Gudael's head and open an eye to get her to do a perception check too?
No, you could not. No, you could not. But you will, however, tell me what you were doing or thinking about that leads you to your natural crit 1 on perception, and why it is that you think there's something behind you instead of in front of you.
I'm a bit lost in a warm feeling that I've just having that nice little chat with Zinn. It's taken to me what I think I would have had if that curse hadn't taken place.
Right. Okay.
And
Alright.
I think I'm just a little bit overcautious now about Zinn behind me. So paranoid that something might be coming at him where I can't get in the way.
Right. Okay.
It looks like there's an inspiration for you in the chat there, Edryn.
Oh, gracias. Oh, thank you very
for
much,
Edryn.
Awesome D.
Awesome D.
Awesome,
That's awesome.
D.
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 Awesome D. That guy, he's so awesome. D. Sorry. I thought that was a bit silly. Alright, welcome Uncle Pelham.
I like that name.
I'm assuming that's how you say your name, sir. And thank you for following the Vaingate Chronicles. So yeah. So what were the perception checks like?
Let us not forget it's all for charity, people.
It is all for charity.
It is all for charity.
Right now, you can go to our charity page, which you'll find in the links below, called Gaming for Charity, and you can donate money to the Starship Hospital, the Children's Hospital in Auckland. Can I redeem an inspiration to give disadvantage on Russell for that joke? I tell you what, you can do that. I'll give you that. Next time I have to make a check versus like a saving throw versus one of these guys' magical spell effects, I'll be at disadvantage because of that joke. Alright, awesome. I'll give you that. This is called audience participation. Uncle Pelham, you are correct in your pronunciation. There you go, enjoying your game. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. We do talk a lot of nonsense while we're role-playing, but we try. Alright, so our perception checks. Let me just have a look at the numbers. What did we get here? Checking the campaign log. Alright, so Milford, that was an 11. Edryn was a 12. Leith was a 15. Adrik was a 5. Leith. Okay, so you're all kind of trudging along. Adrik, you've got Gudael over your shoulder and you're carrying along. You're trudging up these stairs. It's getting a bit slippery now. You can hear water ahead of you, and over the water, Leith, in the distance, you can hear.
I'll turn to everybody and go, I think there are goblins ahead.
Excellent.
At least that's what
Oh,
it
isn't
sounded
that
like.
marvelous?
You know, I really hope it's that same contingent. That'd be very good.
Yes.
It'd be fortuitous. I'm going to cast comprehend languages, and I'm going to give a listen to see if I can understand what they're saying.
Alright. Comprehend languages. Go on then. Listen to understand what they're saying. Make a perception check.
And do Percepciones. 21.
21. They're saying something about
We have not made enough haul. You must keep working. Work them harder. But my lord, we've worked so hard, and our people, they're in pain now. They've been awake many days. How can we find more if you keep working like this?
something like that.
It appears they're working, and they seem a little bit exhausted. I think if we strike now, we'll have the upper hand. If they're all tired and exhausted, we might be able to overpower them again.
Fantastic. Adrik's gonna
Adrik,
turn...
try not to have a relationship with any of them, okay?
Nope, I've learned my lesson. Fool me once, shame on me. Adrik's gonna turn around and he's gonna whisper to a couple of the dwarves behind him. Would you gentlemen and or ladies mind holding Gudael while she's having a nice sleep?
And as you say that, Gudael apparently opens her eyes. Now, Gudael, you've just been out like a light for a while, and you've just had this very interesting vision. where you've seen Leith Mystralath get sliced all the way down through his chest somehow by some large black sword. And it was somewhere in the Underdark.
Leith?
Now, when you say that, you realise that everyone's kind of huddled around, being kind of quiet, and you've just been put down on the muddy floor of these steps leading up through this chamber.
Yes, Dala. Shh.
Dala, do you want to make a wisdom saving throw, or a wisdom check, not a saving throw?
Wisdom check. What is that?
What'd you get?
17.
Well, just as you're about to say something to Leith, also you get this kind of feeling like you remember telling people in your youth about various prophecies that you've had, and they didn't always react especially well to it.
Nothing. What's going on?
Goblins!
What are we going to do about them?
Clear them out, I reckon.
I think we're going to try to get rid of them, yes.
Okay.
Can we see at this point how many there are?
No, you can only hear them further up, around a corner.
Do you not want me to go out there and have a look?
Yes. Adrik, can you turn big still, or is that all gone?
I think I've got one more in me.
Do you think these goblins would be particularly scared if you suddenly became an ogre?
I think they
Hat of disguise, ogre.
I think that would be a nice fun thing to try. I can use
Or
one
do you
of these
think would be
potions.
just as scary with 5 of us rushing out at them?
You know what? I don't think I've got it in me to pretend. Let's just go and just clear it all out.
That's good.
All right.
Let's go forward.
All right, so you go forward, and are you doing any stealthing? Is Milford going first? What's the deal? What's the marching order?
Do you want me to stealth first before you go storming out?
I think that's a good idea, guys.
Yes.
All right, so let's have a stealth check from Milford Brixton. Do you need me to roll that for you, Mr. Tahira? I hear nothing.
Oh, he's rolled it.
He's doing it. Oh, 17. All right. Okay, so Milford stealths off sneakily around the corner. Milford, as you get around the corner, you see there's a... Further up, you start to see the room filling with light, and it looks like daylight. You haven't seen daylight for a while, so it's quite blinding at first, and your eyes adjust slowly, and you see these small, diminutive figures hunched around, and they've got some sort of prisoner tied up there as well, on the floor, and the prisoner's tied up, leaning against the wall, back to the wall. There's about 4 of these goblinoid creatures, kind of not exactly dancing around, but they're, lurching about. One of them's got a cup of wine or something in one hand, and you can see jewels on the side of it. He looks quite pleased with himself. And 2 of them look like they're just guarding this beam of light that's coming in from above.
If I come out a little bit further, will that give me away?
You can get a bit closer. You can make another stealth check.
I try.
All right. 18. 18. All right. You sneak up even closer. You can get really quite close to them now. You're still hiding in the shadows. You just moved right along the edge of the corridor. Luckily, the dripping of water is louder than your footfalls. And you slink along because you know how mud gets very black when it's wet. And so it's pitch dark where you are, and you're standing right in the shadows. And this beam of sunlight coming through this hole in the wall that sort of breaks in from what looks like the forest, actually. You can see the forest above. Is so bright that where you're standing is just pitch black. And you're standing right next to these 4 goblins. Can you make a perception check for me? You can see the green fingers wrapped around this goblet, and you can smell this putrid wine from inside it. 18 on the perception check. Wow, you rolled a 17 and 18 and 18 just now. Right. These are not the goblins that you were dealing with earlier at whatever time that was. These are a different group of goblins. You can tell they look different. They've got different earrings and things and piercings in places, and one of them's got a metal ring through his nostrils.
Okay. Can I see the prisoner any better?
You can. The prisoner is a little elf girl. She looks like a wood elf, probably.
Okay.
She looks quite terrified, and she is currently chained to a ring in the floor. On the end of there's a a stone block. Yeah.
Are these creatures all bunched together?
They are quite close. And they're gibbering away in their goblin tongue.
I go back.
You go back?
To the team, yeah.
Alright, you retreat back to them. Okay, so Milford comes back out of the passageway around the corner.
Now, there's 4 goblins. And they've got an elf girl chained up. I think we'll be able to take them out pretty easy, but they're not the ones that we know. They're none of the ones that we know.
Well, they've taken a child captive, so I'm afraid I'm fresh out of mercy.
Okay.
Yes, especially if it's an elf girl.
Yes, she's a young elf girl.
Dirty little.
Alright, well, let's go then.
Alright, I'll go out first.
Alright.
I'll take out the first one from behind.
So you're going to stealth around behind them, are you?
Yep.
Okay, I'll get another stealth check from you, and then I'm going to get everyone to roll initiative.
Stealth. Okay, come on.
Oh, whoops.
Ah, no, 9.
Ooh.
You get to the corner, and you hear one of them say,
What was that?
Take cover.
Okay, so you jump back behind the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. You sort of leave it for a moment and try again, or
Yeah.
Okay, you can make another stealth check after a moment.
Okay.
I love these Skyrim rules. Was that the wind?
This is called failing forward. You could watch Matthew Colville's videos on DMing, and he'll explain all of these things to you. 18 for the stealth check. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you sneak forward again, and this time you're crouched a little lower. You realize your mistake, and you slink along the inside of the wall, and you get back up to where you were. Now you need to get past them and around them, so you need to make one last stealth check to get yourself into position where you can ambush them.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. And also, welcome a Zangoose. A Zangoose. Welcome a Zangoose. Yeah, thank you for following.
Another 18.
Another 8. Oh my god. Wow. Okay. So
Another one.
Yep, you're in position. All right. Would you like to? You're going to take a surprise attack on one of these goblins. At which point, it will then go into initiative. So, we will roll initiative first for everyone. Then Milford will get his surprise attack. Then we will go through the initiative order. Okay.
Okay.
So, Milford, what's your initiative? Well, Leith is an 18, I see.
That should have been the name of this
15.
episode.
15 for Milford. All right.
Yep.
Everybody else, Edryn, what's your initiative?
4.
Edryn, 4. Adrik,
I've got a tooth suckingly good too.
a 2.
Yes.
A remarkable 2.
The most best.
A gentleman's
second only to
2.
1.
Gudael,
18.
18. Wow, I like the sound of that. All right then. Boom. Well, Milford, roll to hit. What are you using? Short swords, are you?
Short sword and dagger.
Sword and dagger. All right, roll to hit with your short sword. Do you want to do that?
Going now.
Yep. So you get advantage with this attack, by the way.
10.
Okay, so roll again for your advantage.
Okay. Okay. Advantage. Oh, that's the one down the bottom, isn't it?
Just roll the to hit twice.
Okay.
Otherwise
Sorry.
You'll end up getting the wrong one.
Sorry. 21.
21. That hits. Okay, and you're going to do d6 plus 3 points of piercing damage.
Yeah.
Roll your damage, please.
Yep.
It's rolling. It's rolling. A 9. Okay. Are you going for number 1, 2, 3, or 4, or would you like me to describe them to you?
I'm going to number 1.
So number 1's the one with the cup.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
I'm trying to get him from behind, so doesn't that give me something?
Well, you got advantage, so you do get your
Stab him in the back thing.
Yeah, your backstab business.
Yeah.
So that's
I haven't
another-
used it in such a long time. Where is it? Here
Sneak
it is.
attack, 3d6. Do you want me to roll it? I can see it right there.
12.
12. Okay, good work. So it was 12 plus, what was the other damage?
9.
9. 12. Okay, 12. And you assassinate him. You
Okay.
do exactly how much damage he had in hit points. And he
Okay.
just collapsed to the floor. Boof.
Okay.
All right.
I'm trying to make sure he does it quietly.
All right. You have a bonus action and some movement. Do you want to turn and attack the next goblin?
Yeah, can you do that for me?
Yep, I can do that for you. Okay, so this is with a dagger, right?
Yeah.
This time. Okay. So swinging around with your dagger, you're going for the second goblin.
Yep.
Funnily enough, you don't hit him, unfortunately. The second goblin manages to get his hands up in the way and stops your dagger
Okay.
right in front of him. Now it is Gudael's attack or turn.
Okay. Gudael's going to stalk up behind a goblin, and what she wants to do is bop him on the head with her Mace of Disruption.
Okay. All right, roll to hit.
Okay. That's what she wanted to do, but that's a 7.
That's a 7. Unfortunately, that misses. You have a bonus action. Do you want to use that for anything?
Can I hit again with my mace?
No, you don't
No.
have 2 attacks, unfortunately.
Okay. All
You
right.
can do a bonus action and attack with an offhand weapon if you have a dagger or a short sword or something like that.
Okay, so as I'm stalking up and I go to hit, I trip, and that's what my mace missed.
All right.
So then I'll quickly grab out my dagger and try to take a swipe at him with that.
All right. And you're going to drop your shield too at that point because you can't use your shield with your dagger.
That's right.
Yeah, but you can do that. It's a free action. You can drop your shield as you get your dagger and go for a dagger attack. You lose 2 armor class, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to make a roll to hit with your dagger. 14.
14?
That also misses, unfortunately.
I'm still sleepy, I guess.
I guess so. You're feeling the effects of just waking up from that little visionary moment that you had. You're having a Leith Mystralath moment. Speaking of Leith Mystralath, it's now your turn.
It's my turn. I shall cast a hex on number 2.
All right.
Did they cast? Yep. And then I shall firebolt at number 2 and number 3.
All right. Roll to hit.
Oh, no, not firebolt. Eldritch Blast. That's
Eldritch
the one
Blast.
that splits in 2.
All right.
So for number 2, it's 22.
22. That does hit.
Yep. And for number 3 is a 20.
Also hits.
Also hits. So number 2 takes 8 points of damage.
You singe his brains out through his eyeball and he collapses to the floor in a stinking heap of smoking ruins. The second one, how much damage does that do?
9 points.
Similarly, you destroy the second goblin. There is but one left who is very surprised and very shocked and not very impressed. At which point it is Milford's turn. There is one goblin left, Milford. This goblin looks a little bit different to the others and has some kind of robe and a kind of crooked staff. He reminds you of the Bhooyagh that you came upon with King What's-His-Face of whereabouts back at the Megaron.
I didn't like him. I'm going to kill this guy.
Alright, roll a hit. 14.
14.
Hold on a second. Okay, 14. Unfortunately, yes, actually, you do hit. You do hit. Alright, roll your damage. 9.
9.
Alright, and then with your dagger.
Dagger. Dagger, dagger, dagger.
Dagger, dagger, dagger. 25 hits. Roll your damage with your dagger. 6. Alright. Very good. Add that. Okay. Edryn.
I'm going to firebolt the one that's similar to the Bhooyagh.
Alright. You rolled a hit. He's the only one, so that makes sense.
What is it, a total of 13 to hit?
13 does hit.
Alright, so I do 11 points of fire damage.
Ooh, alright. Do you have any bonus actions?
No, that is the end of my turn. I need to reload my camera.
Okay. While you're doing that, this creature, this Bhooyagh, mumbles some words. He mumbles some words, and he touches himself. And as he touches himself, you see the shimmering armor go across his body, which Edryn recognizes as mage armor, which, curiously enough, takes one action. Yes. All right. Adrik, it is your turn.
Brilliant. Gonna charge up to the other Bhooyagh and hit him with my hammer.
Roll to hit.
18 on first hit.
Yep, that hits.
That is an 11 to that first hit.
11 points of damage?
Yes, please.
All right. He throws his hands up in the air. He goes,
Surrender!
Or was that your
Adrik holds just before hitting him and goes,
He
Guys?
says that in Undercommon, by the way. And so everybody sees Adrik swing at this guy and then stop, just as the creature makes this odd noise in Undercommon.
Adrik, what is it? Why are you stopping?
He goes
Just-
down on his knees.
Just finish him.
he said he surrenders.
He falls to his
Uh-oh.
knees and puts his hands above his head.
Goblins don't know surrender.
Adric's gonna, grinding his teeth, he's gonna swing his hammer again,
Can everyone... Yeah?
and he's going to just smash it into the ground next to the goblin.
Okay. Everybody else can make a perception check.
Oh. Come on, with the heck.
God.
The Baron
7.
rolls a massive 8.
Yeah.
I rolled an even mess of a 7.
Oh dear. Okay.
19.
19. Okay. Gudael, can you make an Arcana check, please?
Oh. That's a critical one.
6. Useless.
Total of 3.
You think he's praying. Milford a 6. Okay. And suddenly the Bhooyagh disappears. Boom.
Oh no.
Those
I
of you.
believe-
Yep.
He was praying, so perhaps his god has disappeared him away. I rather wish we'd dispatched him first, but such is battle.
Well, that probably means he's going to bring more down upon us with him. So,
I'll go over to the prisoner.
Okay. She looks up at you.
Hello, you.
You say that in common, I assume.
Yeah, I see it in common.
Hello?
What are you doing all tied up here?
Um,
I'm undoing it well.
alright, you're
Well, I'm
undoing her.
talking.
Can you make a sleight of hand check, please?
Oh.
Adrik, for what it's worth, I would also king someone who had surrendered.
Thank you, Dala.
25.
25. Alright. Very good. You managed to untie her quite easily. Or you unchain her, actually, because you're...
Yeah.
Alright. Between the fact that you've killed the guy who's got the keys, and you find the keys, and the fact that you can lockpick too, we'll say that you free her. Alright. And she stands up sort of slowly. She says, "Who are you?"
Oh, my name's Milford Brixton. What's yours?
Well, I'm Brianna Lethalis.
Brianna, where are we, darling? What part of there? What's the name of this place?
I don't know the name of this place. I don't know. We're in the forest. I come from Timbrook.
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 Oh,
I
this is my
I
friend
recognize her at
Gudael.
all?
Sorry, what's that?
Do I recognize her at all?
You can make a history check.
Dirty.
Dirty 20? Maybe you've seen her before, maybe? I mean, you've been through Timbrook, you've spent time there, but you didn't really live there.
Yeah, I lived not far from, so
Yeah.
Are you unharmed, Brianna?
Yes, I think.
I'll take this chain. It might come in handy sometime.
It's chained to a large stone.
Okay.
It's sort of in the floor, set into the floor.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave it here then.
How old does she look?
In elven years, the equivalent of about... She looks like a 9-year-old human child would look. She's obviously older than that because she's an elf, so she might be in her 20s or 30s.
We should really get you home.
Yes.
It's quite a long way from Timbrook.
Yes. Now, you guys, are you still in your disguises at this point, or what?
No.
Leith is still in disguise, but trying to sound as undisguised as possible.
She looks terrified of you.
I'll just wipe the makeup off my face.
You're not a drow?
No, I'm not. I'm in disguise.
What are you doing here?
I live near Timbrook as well. Well, we're doing some scouting for those up above.
Oh, I see. So, you're not going to sell me to these Bhooyagh?
Oh no.
Adrik takes off the hat and becomes himself again.
Can I have my hat back now?
My disguise would have dropped hours ago, by the way.
It suits you better,
Gudael
Brixton.
face.
I know. Makes me look... I've thought of a new word. It makes me look cool.
I've got a refrigerator waiting for you.
Hey,
It's perched on a cloud just outside the entrance.
Milford, I know I'm not the most particularly with it of elves, but even I know the word cool.
Oh, you mean it's not original?
Well, you can have it though. You can have it.
I've got one for you. What if the hat was Brixific?
Oh,
now that's original.
now that we can work with.
Brixific.
Okay, I think that's good. I like it. What do you think? He says to the girl. Does that sound good to you, Brixific?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
I want to
Okay.
go home. Please, can we leave this place now?
Well, if we're where we think we are,
of course,
yes,
my dear.
we can.
There's light here. Just go.
What did you say your family name was?
She said her family name was Lethalas.
Russell,
Yes.
how many moons are in the sky?
You ask her that, or are you asking me?
No, I'm looking at you. I'm looking to see where the moons are.
That? Oh, when you go out through the thing.
Yes.
You can see the pillar, the steps, and the high arch from the entrance.
Okay. All right. So we're in our own world.
Think so.
Okay. I think we're in our own world. That's all I can tell you.
So there's a hole in the ceiling?
Yeah, and there's a set of stairs that come down from it.
Right. Well, let's see where in Sidariel we are then.
All right, so you pop up, out, and you find yourselves
Yep.
in a clearing in a forest, surrounded by some large pieces of stone and rock. They look remarkably Asturian in their origin.
It's not the calendar that we went through before, was it?
No.
Okay.
Edryn, can you make a perception check, please? This is relevant only to you.
I am going to use the inspiration that I was given a 4 and reroll that
All right.
to a 19.
To a 19. Okay, well, Edryn, what's very comforting to you is the fact that you cannot hear any water in the vicinity, at least no large bodies of water. You can hear a stream bubbling away in the distance, but you don't hear waves lapping or Oceans churning, any sounds like that.
I think we're pretty far inland. I'm not hearing any shore business.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh.
I rather am.
Was that more
Beach.
Was that more dwarf humor?
No.
Oh, you were being serious. Oh,
I can be serious sometimes. It's not all just. It's not all knock jokes and puns. Sometimes I'm just checking.
I wasn't saying that. I just thought it was.
You thought it was him being him again? Yeah. Okay. Let's try and figure out where we are. Maybe we're not on the. Maybe we're not on the island.
Yes.
Hang
Leith,
on. If we're near a stream. Oh, sorry, Leith.
No. Go right ahead.
Well, I was about to say, if we're near a stream, that stream might lead either to a lake, Lockharte Lake, or it might lead to a town. Considering towns are typically on a body of water for, water reasons.
Let's look out for black card just in case, eh?
And we can, depending how large the stream is, we can get on Leith's lovely boat.
Exactly.
Oh yes.
All right.
How big is the stream?
So you look around and you find the stream, and the stream is in fact fairly big. It's the point at which you could get the boat going is a little bit further up, maybe 300 or 400 feet, but you recognize a spot where you can. And if you want to, you can do that. Do you plan to do that?
How wide is?
Fairly wide, actually.
Okay.
It's not very, very deep, but it's fairly wide, and there are places where it's deeper than other places. There's a couple of places where there's stones through the middle of it, and there's a little bit of white water.
So the boat can hold the ship version of the boat.
Right.
Can hold.
Yep.
This because I can unfold it in two ways and make just a boat or a ship.
Right.
The ship can hold 15 medium-sized creatures comfortably.
Right.
So there's quite a few more of us than that.
Well, at this point, the dwarves come forward anyway, and they say, "Well, thank you, Mr. Fogdar. You've done a great service helping us to the surface here. Perhaps it's time for us to part ways."
Are you sure? Do you know where you're going from here?
Well, you look around and he says, "Well, I can see the Banakaya Ranges in the distance down, and I assume that must be to the east, across the lake there, yes?"
Aye,
Must
but
be that way.
and that looks like it's quite far.
It
Do
is
you
a
have
long
any?
way.
Do you have any supplies? Clearly not.
Look, Mr. Fogdar, we're on the surface now. Our worries and woes are mostly behind us. We can find our way from here. There's ample food to be foraged on the surface, and even if we bring ourselves down to eat bugs and like, it's still better than what we were living through before. If you have any food you'd like to give us, then we would happily take it. But I think from here, he looks at your boat. He says, "Besides, I don't like boats."
They're quite fun, don't you think?
That thing looks like you pulled it out of a tiny little box. I'm not sure it will hold anyone, let alone all of us.
I'll actually unfold it at that point and show him that it's actually pretty sturdy.
All right. Still, 15 of us and another 5 of you. Do you think we'll all fit in there?
Well, possibly not. But if we do use it as a sort of a makeshift campsite, a floating campsite, as it were, and some of us can walk along beside it.
I'd be happier if you were to accompany us to the nearest town. Partially because I'd like my hammer and my shield back. I'm quite happy to buy some
And I've got
supplies in that
Of course,
regard.
we'll give you
Daggers
your
I've
things
given
back.
you.
Yes, yes. Very well then. All right. So, the long story short of it is that you travel by foot and by boat in this sort of hybrid fashion as you've described. And I'm just going to
Leith just
check up-
wanted an excuse to use his boat.
Right.
It's a good excuse.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just going to check
All the
in
children
my-
get to ride their boat. It's wicked.
my maps. Checking in my maps here. Dun, dun, dun. Right. When I say you were close to Timbrook. Right. So you end up on this bend that goes through the forest, and eventually you get to Timbrook. And Timbrook is this little wood elf town in the forest. It's not very big, built among the trees, and you see people coming and going, a few carts traveling along. There is a fairly hefty road that cuts through this place. It's a little bit out of context because the road seems to be sort of bigger and more well built than the town is. So there's a sort of small town built around this much bigger road, this highway, if you will. And those of you that are elves can make history checks to kind of get a notion of where you are. So that's basically Leith and Gudael.
7.
Leith, you get advantage because you lived around here.
Oh, okay. Roll another one.
Ha.
then.
Yep.
14.
16.
16 and a 14. Okay, well, you guys know where Timbrook is. You know that there's sort of a little bit of an S bend on the river that will take you round through to a smaller town called Silver Edge, which is literally on the edge of the lake. And from there, you can travel back to the island, perhaps, if you so desire.
Leith is going to put his hood up as he travels through Timbrook.
Okay.
Gudael, since Milford trying to surreptitiously
I'm sorry, I missed some of that. Trying to
Oh.
surreptitiously something?
stay close to Leith.
Right,
She's remembering her vision.
right. Yep, that makes sense. Right.
Black sword. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and as you're traveling through Timbrook, can I get you all to make perception checks, please?
I'm gonna cast Disguise Self on myself to make myself look like an elf.
Oh, okay.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
There's perception.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, 10.
18.
10.
Was that a 10 from you as well?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh,
it's a two
boy.
tens. Milford Brixton,
Oh,
what's your
boy.
perception check?
It won't be very good.
Unless-
On mine. Perception. Here we are.
So I can begin by saying that Leith, you notice, and
21.
Gudael, 21? 21.
Yep.
Leith, Milford, and Gudael, you three notice a bunch of horses outside the stable that are currently being tended to by a stable boy. Those horses have markings on them that, Gudael, you recognize extremely well. They have black saddles, black armor, symbols of the Sidariel Tularathion official seals of the
Dala.
kingdom, of the realm.
Dala, I think we should keep moving.
We need-
I don't think it's safe to stay in town.
We
You see a courtyard to your left-hand side that's out the side of what is essentially a kind of tavern beer garden, and there's a small shrine there to some of the Seldarine gods, and a fountain where there's a god there with a harp in one hand and an amphora in the other, and there's water pouring from the amphora into a pool at his feet. And in that courtyard, and they're blocked off from you guys merely by a trellis, a wooden trellis with vines growing up over it and flowers, roses in fact. And you look through the trellis, and the three of you that had the high perception checks, you see a group of 5 black guards sitting, drinking, eating together at a table.
Does Dala recognize any of them, or Gudael?
Gudael, can you make a history check, please?
Whoa, 25.
Oh, wow. Your cousin, Darian Janus Talandaran, is amongst them. You also recognize Londrel Brayan Imdrael. I will give you these names in chat if you like, or after the game if you ask me for them. Remind me.
Okay. So
Darian Janus, that's spelled with a J, Talandaran, your cousin. Your father's brother's wife's wife. Wait, what is that?
Nephew.
There you go. Your nephew. Darian is your nephew.
okay.
That works for me. And Londrel Brayan Imdrael.
Brian. Yeah. And he's just someone I recognize.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
You've had quite a lot of interactions with the Imdraels over time. You might have played with them as a child, in fact. Be a long time ago now. More than a century.
Okay. Listen, chaps, if we don't want to be recognized, we really need to make haste in the other direction, I think.
Right. Adrik's going to turn to the other dwarves and go, alright, so I think you're well enough where you are. You'll have to make your own way from here. The rest of us need to be skedaddling because of reasons. But I'm not going to leave you empty-handed to the whims of the world. And he's going to gesture to... God, what's her name again? Rizwin Fogdar.
Yep.
And he's going to hand her 20 gold.
Mr. Fogdar, that's far too much money for us.
No. Don't you dare. You take this, you make sure they all get home.
All right, I'll do that.
Good.
You hear that, lads and ladies and boys and girls? Mr. Fogdar here is paying our wages, paying our way home. We'll remember that. Adrik Fogdar saved you from the Bhooyagh and the Dark Elves below. And they give you a little clap.
Leith is going to throw them each a gold piece as well. And this is for you to be able to eat.
All right. While this is going on, this black-clad, black-armored woman steps out from the courtyard, comes around the corner, and she's got a black guard helmet under her arm, long black hair in long tails, very pallid-looking face. She has a scar on her cheek. She looks like a high elf. And none of you recognize her off the bat. She says, "What's going on here?"
We were just saying our goodbyes and departing.
A large group of dwarves in Timbrook coming through, I see. Where from?
Well, we were underground exploring, and these fellows had been captured by a band of goblins.
Underground, you say?
Aye. Where else is a dwarf to be but underground?
She looks at you, Leith, for a long moment. You seem familiar.
Leith is going to make no effort to let her see his face. He's got his hood up.
So he's literally trying to hide?
Not trying to hide, but just like eyes to the ground.
Eyes to the ground, okay.
Yep.
And she
Don't
steps
you
past
mind,
you,
Mifflin?
Leith, towards Milford. Milford, what are you doing? What's your composure like right now?
I am being relaxed and calm.
Okay.
Like I've got nothing to hide.
Okay. I'll get all of you to make performance checks unless you don't want to.
Why would we not want to?
Well, I don't know. I don't know
I'm
why
suspicious.
you wouldn't want to.
6.
That was... I'm... No.
And alternatively, why would I
11.
want to now that you've pointed it out?
I'm gonna use my inspiration reroll.
All right. It's the
Any
illusion of
chance?
agency, that's
16.
Oh, persuasion wouldn't be it because I'm not trying to persuade
Ah,
them of anything.
even worse.
So performance. Ooh, just
fine. Oh,
Curse my 0.
total
charisma.
20.
20. Wow. Okay, Edryn's good. So, Edryn, you're looking like an elf right now, aren't you?
I actually think he would have chosen a half elf because he knows he can never pass as an actual elf, but he knows that he might be able to bullshit his way through being a half blood.
Okay.
So he's gone. He's gone half elf to
Okay.
be a little bit more realistic.
All right. So when she walks past you, she literally flicks your ear. She steps past you. It's very demeaning. And she steps up to Milford and she looks you in the face, Milford. She looks you up and down. And she says, "You seem somehow familiar to me. What's your name, half-breed?"
Milford Brixton.
Don't know that name. Where are you from?
Oh, yeah, I'm from Vaingate.
Are you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you doing here?
Well,
Look,
I was just passing through.
passing through.
You know, I visited relatives and stuff.
Did you? And
Yes.
which relatives did you visit? If I
Oh,
may.
not here, not here. I'm passing through this town.
Oh. And where were these relatives that you were visiting, Mr. Brixton?
Oh, a town back there.
I am going to cast Charm Person on her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dog.
And I'm going to say,
Just before you do that, I urge you to read the entire description of Charm Person to
Yes.
really decide. This is just want to give you this.
you attempt to charm a humanoid you can see within range. It must make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if you or your companions are fighting it. If it fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you until the spell ends or until you or your companions do anything harmful to it. The charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows that it has been charmed by you.
Right. As long as you are happy with all of those clauses, then I accept. Very well.
Yep.
I'm making a
Yep.
wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
What's the DC?
That'll be my spell save DC, right?
Yeah.
Mine is 14.
She turns and looks at you and she smiles and she says, "Ah, yes. Yes, of course. I'm sorry.
We're of no interest to you.
Of course you're not. Why
Leave
would
us
you?
be.
But you are... It seems like a very hot, dry day today. Perhaps you would like a drink. Some food, perhaps?
We're...
And all your friends.
Please, leave us be.
If you wish. All right. She turns and walks off. How long does it last?
Yeah, that might be the problem, but by that point we're gone. 1 hour.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
We're definitely gone.
All right.
All right, let us keep moving. Thank God that worked.
All right.
And Leith just heads for the opposite gate to which they arrived in.
All right.
The one that would head them towards the island.
All right, there's an archway that leads over to the next part of the river where you can set up your boat once more. Right?
Yep.
And I'm assuming that you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, you set up your boat and you make passage to, first of all, Silver Edge. You pass through Silver Edge because I'm assuming you don't want to stop there.
Not really. Just keep sailing until we
Right.
get to the island.
And you said your goodbyes to the dwarves, and they've
Yep,
gone.
I got all our stuff back.
Right.
Yep.
Got all your stuff back, and
I gave each of them a gold piece to feed themselves.
all right, and you head off into the mists of Lake Lockharte, and eventually you find your way back to the island, and you see the tents on the shore as you sail in. It's by this time it's very late in the day. In fact, the sun is going down now. The second sun. The first sun is already set, and you hear the sounds of the final birds singing as they curl up under the trees and in their branches and nests and what have you. And the landscape begins to settle. The sky is pink, and the pink begins to fade to black. And you march your way up off the shore to the campsite. And you see Thorn come out.
You! Where have you been? All of you! Did you survived?
Well, yes, we did.
We hear the sound of collapse.
Yes, we did find a different way out. We wanted to make sure that we were able to get out into the surface and report back about what had occurred.
I take you to Maith now.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
She takes you through to the island, to the, what do you call it? Not the island, the tent, the camp. Oh my goodness. Wow, my phone just freaked out. How was that? Okie dokie, what's the message?
Good old Siri.
All right. You head
How
inside.
Siri of it.
Oh, that's a Android phone, so it's not Siri. I can tell you that much. In any case, you go into the. It's not a tent. It's bigger than a tent. It's a marquee. Marquee. Yes, marquee. And as you pass inside it, as you noticed last time you were inside this particular marquee, it appears to be larger on the inside than upon the outside. In fact, it seems infinitely larger on the inside. There's all sorts of pockets of space in here between curtains and things. And it's lit by lanterns and dancing lights. And Maith comes gliding in your direction quite suddenly as you appear in the tent. You have all returned.
Yes, my lord, and I'll bow really deeply. We've had quite the adventure.
I was about to set out looking for you, or rather, I was to send a party to search for you. If you had not come back by this time tomorrow, what happened?
I'll explain everything as to what occurred down underneath.
All right, so you speak for about 10 minutes, I suppose, to explain all of that. And Maith nods and sort of politely. And as you're speaking, he ushers you all in, and there are seats set up by one of his servants. They're kind of just folding seats that are brought forth and put in front of you each, so you can sit in a sort of semicircle nearby by the hearth that's been arranged.
I'm keeping Zinn quite close to me as we're going.
Oh, you got Zinn with you too.
We didn't leave him in Timbrook.
Makes sense.
Amazing that he wasn't detected.
Right. Zinn. Okay. Yes. All right, well, I guess he's here, and Maith is looking at Zinn during a lot of this conversation. And he says to you, Adrik, and so what do you suppose you're going to do with this boy?
And I'm gonna look over at Zinn, and with Zinn's approval, I aim to take him as my ward for the time being, until he's able and ready to return to his home and to finish his journey.
Incidentally, Zinn has spent the last, 10 hours going...
I imagine through that I've been watching him quite closely, and I had a small chat with him, just telling him what everything is.
Right. So you've explained trees, you've explained the sky, you've explained moons, vast expanses. Edryn, how did you deal with the crossing on the water?
I went... Does it have below deck?
No, I don't think so.
No? I would have just...
When we came to the lake, I probably would have
closed
started.
my eyes.
When we came to the lake, I would have excused myself from Zinn for a moment and gone over to Edryn, grabbed his hand, and just started singing the lullaby to him.
Okay. Zinn's like, why didn't you do that for me, motherfucker?
Edryn's other hand,
Yeah.
Edryn's other hand would have been clutching something in his pocket as well at that time.
All right. Okay. So you explain everything to Maith, and Maith listens carefully, and one of his various servants here, in fact, I'll tell you what, there is this book sitting up on a pedestal, and there is literally a quill in the air writing. Those of you that are magicians will know that this is an unseen servant. Okay. So he's dictating everything you say, writing it all down. Well, he says, I'm sure you will be glad to have a fresh, clean set of sheets to sleep in this night. You should wash yourselves up and get the filth off you from where you've been. Can't hear you, Leith. You're mouthing words.
Sorry? Yes, I think you should also know that there are Blackguard in Timbrook at the presently.
Ah, yes, the Blackguard. Thank you. We'll make a note of that, indeed. I have news for you, too. Unfortunate news. He turns to you, Gudael. Perhaps, I'm sorry to tell you this. Unfortunately, your brother, Ren, has been taken by the Blackguard. It seems he's been found out. He has been put under arrest, and I believe he has been taken to the Sufferance as a prisoner.
Oh my god. No, that... But he's in the Blackguard.
Well, it seems that he has been caught with documents or something. We do not know the particulars, only that he has been arrested and he has not made his drops. I've been looking into the situation. It is difficult because the place where they have taken him, the Sufferance, is impervious to my spells.
Of course.
Which leads me to a new question. Where do you all stand now? Because it seems to me that access to Ren and his knowledge may well be useful, and no doubt you wish to see your brother freed. He has information that we could certainly use if we were able to get him out of the Sufferance, but that is a big task, and I would not place such a mammoth expedition upon anyone.
Well, I feel that we we have ourselves back up here again, and we're able to re-enter the underground if we need to, if you want us to explore further. But I'm not sure. I think we may need to regroup ourselves and consider what we need to do.
I've also heard from Vaingate. This Vorbis Daal Renaz, the Inquisitor of the Banakayan, my apologies, the Barakail Envoy. He has certainly caused distress. It is said that the city of Gudael has begun to move against Vaingate. There is an army marching in that direction presently.
How long before they reach Vaingate?
Could be a month, could be less, perhaps more. It's hard to say. Depends which route they take and whether they stop for the winter.
In terms of urgency, I think it was your brother's Ren, correct, Dala?
Yes.
I believe that Ren's plight may be more urgent.
Well, Ren will not be going anywhere fast, I can say this much.
You don't believe they intend to execute him?
Oddly enough, no. He's been kept in the sufferance. It is not the prison that they keep their future executionees.
No, it's more of a... what do you call it? Expulsion? No.
Exile?
Exile, that's the word. It's more of an exile. They just intend to never see him again.
The thing
Not
about
the
the
worst case
sufferance is
scenario.
it places an individual in a situation where they are excommunicado of all family, society, etc. They like to keep individuals in such a place where they may potentially have some political value in the future. But they do not wish to execute them per se, and sending them off into the desert is just too unpredictable.
Typically, the confinement is solitary as well.
It is a
All right,
terrible place.
I retract my statement.
It is understood you've never heard of the place, perhaps.
As well. It's fine. So I believe our next move is to stop an army.
Well,
Just us?
I'm not sure that's something you alone can do.
Oh, I'm fairly good at digging. Just one quick, large, enormous trench, and it's fine. One
Further
giant
to
pit
this,
trap.
Mr. Mystralath, I believe
Yes, my lord.
Queen Claresca of Scartabel is actively looking for you.
Oh, to what ends?
That is uncertain. Only that your name, you have been summoned.
I'm not sure that that's a good thing, but I guess yes, we need to consider a lot of things, and I think a good rest would be most advantageous for us.
What is that noise in the background? Right. A rest, perhaps, would be a good place to start.
Yes.
Perhaps you should discuss these matters among yourselves, and when you are done, come back and find me before traveling, making decisions.
Very good. Shall we, everybody? Shall we go and partake of some food and some rest?
I'd be quite happy for a brief reprieve from our jaunt below.
Yes.
Well, I must say it is very pleasing to see you all have made it out alive. And I'm pleased that you've freed so many prisoners from the Bhooyagh.
I'm sure there were more, and I'm sure we could be of more assistance as well. But I think maybe you ought to send an army down there.
An army?
Well, or some sort of scouting, further scouting group.
I believe that the forge that Leith mentioned earlier could be of particular use to us.
Oh,
I didn't get a particularly good look at it, but from what the dwarves we rescued said, there were runes, much like my own. So I can make the educated guess that the forge belonged to fire giants, which very exceptionally talented smiths. That there could be much there of use to Bragan's cause.
I see. Well, this is good news. This is good news. And I should also prioritize this as a potential step, as our next move.
There's just the matter of an unknown amount of Bhooyagh, which isn't an enormous problem, just an uncertainty.
Well, perhaps you need to scout this. Find more information.
Quite happy to.
Very well.
I believe I'm owed 5 gold from one of them, so that's as good reason as any to go back down.
Huh. Well done. Well, unless there is anything else, I shall leave you to it.
If I may request, if we're having a bit of a break, I should like some spell component pieces. There are things I need to add to my my book that I have yet to add, if that is all right.
Spell component pieces that you'd like to add to your book.
Well, there are spells that I have yet to add to my book, and I would like some magical. I require a specific amount of gold's worth of components to be able to impart them into my book.
I see, of course. This shall not be a problem. I shall arrange these things.
Thank you. I'm more than happy to pay for it myself, but a total of 186 gold, if that is gold's worth of these items.
I'm sure we can
material
arrange
costs.
such things. It seems to me that you and your companions are fairly affluent these nights and days. After all, you did bring a ship here full to the gunwales with treasure. I'm sure we can assist you in any way possible.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, I have arranged for a feast, so you shall eat and you shall sleep. And then tomorrow we shall begin again with strategy.
Yes.
Very good then.
Thank you so much, my lord.
You are, of course, dismissed. If you wish, of course.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
And,
so you guys retire, I assume.
Yep.
All right, well, it is 10 o'clock, and I'm going to do one last scene before we quit this. And this scene occurs a couple of hours after this point, once everybody is asleep. And Edryn, you wake up, and you're in your tent alone, and you hear the rattling of paper.
Right, I'm going to...
You seem to be alone in this tent. I mean, you may or may not have slept with any of the other members of the party in the same tent or not, but they're not here now.
Right, I'm going to conjure a lantern, press a digitation it on, and see if I can find out what's making the fluttery, papery noise.
As you conjure the lantern, the silhouette of this giant book flickers up against the wall of the tent, and pages are turning. making a horrendous racket as they turn. And next to the book, a figure turns around on a chair, and you hear the chair scraping on the floor, which is odd because later on you'll realize that the floor is actually grass, not stone. And there's this squealing as this chair turns around towards you, making this horrific noise. And this figure in the chair kind of tilts its head up on this sort of lurchy kind of action that it does. His neck a little twisted.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Motkoff. Enjoying your spells, are you?
I'm sorry,
Do you know me?
you? Are you?
You murdered me, you fool.
Hamir. It's. I would
yes.
say it's a pleasure, but
do
I would
know my
rather
name,
enjoy
then.
my sleep. Yes, sadly.
So you're enjoying my spells, are you?
I haven't really been able to enjoy a specific amount of your lot. Actually, one of them has come very in handy, but the other one I'm slowly getting to. So
Yes, I'm sure
if
it will take
wouldn't
you some
mind.
time with your diminutive resources of mind.
Oh, well, actually, we seem to be doing rather well for ourselves.
Are you? Huh.
Yes.
Well,
If you wouldn't mind me asking, what,
black lung.
right, what has made you come here? Obviously, this isn't a normal occurrence, considering Adrik tore you in half.
Ah, yes, of course, that, yes. Well, of course, as you can imagine, I'm not really here at all. More of an extension of the will of the book of twisted skin, as you like to call it.
Right. Is there any way you can just sort of go away?
Go away, you say?
Yes.
Very well. I shall retire.
He stands
Right,
up,
very good.
walks off into the shadows, sort of lurches into the blackness. You see the book turning pages still. And his hand reaches out from quite a distance away into the light, and you just see his hand for a moment, and he grabs the book and closes it. And you see his face come back into the light for a moment. He says,
The book is thinking about you, Edryn. You are on its mind.
and then he disappears into the darkness. And that, my friends, is where we shall leave our game for the night. Unless you would like to make one last statement, Edryn, if you want to have the last word.
Nope.
Oh, very good.
Suitably creepy. Love it.
Oh.
Thank you all, and do have a lovely night. Thank you, viewers, for watching. I again urge you to check out the links below. There's a number of them, the least of which is the charity link. And if you have money to throw around, go and spend some bucks on supporting gaming for charity. There's a number of children, I imagine quite a few of them, really need your help right now, and you can donate money to the Starship Children's Hospital through the link below, Gaming for Charity. Or, you know, if you love us that much, you can buy a subscription or 10 and share it around. We appreciate that too. But thank you for following, and we'll see you all next week at 7 o'clock plus 12 UTC, New Zealand time, Friday night. Yeah, you have a good one.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Over.